Awesomes. Get in your comfort zone. AirComfortService.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
You just said it is a little excursion, and you said it is a war. So which one is it?
Well, it's both. It's both. It's an excursion that will keep us out of a war, and the war is going to be. For them, it's a war. For us, it's turned out to be easier than we thought.
Well, there you have President Trump referring to the the events in Iran as an excursion. You know when you go on vacation and you're like, oh, what excursions are we going to do?
This is one of those.
Trump is strange. Also, you got Peter Doocy there saying, you've called it a war and you've called it an excursion. Which one is it? And he says it's both. And I guess it is. And he explains there that it's both because it really depends on who you are in the conflict. If you're in Iran, you're probably feeling like this is war. If you're here, you're probably feeling like this is something that you want to wrap up and get done and get over with. Our YouTube poll for today, President Trump said the Iran war could end, quote, soon. Do you believe him? So this is kind of going to be a pulse test here for you, the Annie Fry Show audience here on 97.1 FM Talk. Yes, you trust Trump's assessment. No, it'll drag on. Or the one that's maybe a little more nuanced, a little more complicated, you can answer maybe. And it depends on Iran's behavior. I don't know how smart it is to go in and tell your enemy exactly when all the things are going to be. Okay, we're going to do this until Tuesday at noon, and then we're going to be done. I think that's something that President Trump is trying to avoid, of course, is just like laying out the game plan. And he very regularly, in his bajillion different press conferences that he'll engage in, he very regularly says, I'm not going to answer that. Why would I tell you that? And he takes a pass on it, which I think is very smart of him. He continues to be asked. He continues to have the same sort of response, which is that this is not going to last long. Initially, that very first day, I think they said 4 to 6 weeks, and then the 4-week time frame kind of kept getting repeated. Here's a little bit more.
They are pretty much at the end of the line. Doesn't mean we're going to end it immediately, but they are. They've got no Navy. They've got no Air Force. They've got no anti-air traffic, anything. They have no systems of control. We're just riding free range over that country. And now we're going to look very strongly at the Straits. The Straits are in great shape. We've knocked out all of their boats. They have some missiles, but not very many. I think we're in very good shape. The main thing is we have to win this. They win it quickly, but win it. And there are many people. I'm just watching some of the news. Most people say it's already been won. It's just a question of when. When do we stop? We don't want to let it regrow. And ideally, would like to see somebody in there that knows what they're doing. In other words, they can build a country. Now, one other thing. We can hit sections of Tehran and other places that if you do it, it'll be almost impossible for them to rebuild their country. And we don't want that. But we can hit electric, we could take apart their electric capacity within 1 hour, and it would take them 25 years to rebuild it.
President Trump speaking yesterday, I think probably as he is departing Kentucky, basically from a rally, from what I understand, where he endorsed Logan Paul and wants to crush Thomas Massie.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I think a quick Google search yesterday that I'm trying to recall says that the Kentucky primary is mid-May. Do you want to see Thomas Massie stay? Would the Republican Party and the conservative movement be better served if he were gone?
Man, I don't know. I'm really torn on him.
What good is he?
He does some things that pushes, like releasing the Epstein files. I think that was a good push for him. And he is in on some of those kind of outsiders things, which I do like about him.
But see, the only one, if he weren't there, you don't think we'd have the release of the Epstein files?
I don't know. There were a few others. I mean, he wasn't the only one, but I do like that about him. So I don't know.
Man, grief to dollar ratio, I do not think is in Thomas Massie's favor. He's an obstructionist. I don't I understand where he's coming from, but I even think like if you're trying to be the House Kentucky Rand Paul, because this Kentucky's just got something in the water or whatever, like super hardcore about the fiscal responsibility of the country. Hard to push back against that. It's hard to look at somebody who's willing to be a hardliner on where we spend our money and what actually justifies the taking of $1 out of your pocket to spend it anywhere else. I think that the likes of Rand Paul and I think that early on Thomas Massie was a good representation in Congress, but it is my opinion, and I'm sure Thomas Massie follows the show on Twitter or whatever.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I hesitate. I should ask him to come on. I'm sure he's got nothing to do.
It's worth an ask.
Yeah, maybe I'll message him. I feel as though that his purpose is now to be obstructionist. Like, if you had a principled core purpose to stop government spending pretty much at any corner, because I mean the man wears, it's kitschy but it's kind of funny, the debt clock on his lapel, the maid. If your goal is to screech spending to a halt, slowing down government might be a good way to do that, but that's actually not the case right now when you have a president and an administration that is looking to be generationally transformative in how government functions. How many times when the president has been trying to get through his policies have we been talking about Thomas Massie? He's working against the Republicans as much as he's working against business as usual coming out of Congress. So, I think you could be principled. I feel like Thomas Massie's almost gotten in his own way to the point where he's no longer serving the purpose of the conservative movement. Now, if you're in Kentucky and you're in his district, they're saying he's not there to serve your purpose, Annie. He's there to serve ours, and we like him, and we're keeping him. If you like your representative, you can keep your representative.
Well, I didn't mean to make that a full-throated endorsement of Thomas Massie. I'm just a little torn because he does do things. I like outsiders. He's definitely that.
Not anymore.
He has become just almost like Democrats. Trump do it. Oh, I'm against it. He's almost there.
He's sliding down the Justin Amash route as far as libertarian goes.
Yeah.
Just like if you're a libertarian, great. Be libertarian, but you cannot just be anti-Trump.
When I look at what A. Thomas Massie has to say, I kind of already know where that is. I'm interested in what Chip Roy has to offer because I feel as though there's going to be a nuance or a layer to it where I feel like maybe a Chip Roy, you remember when President Trump was at that, I think it was the prayer breakfast, which I just don't know. It's good that he's at the prayer breakfast. I just don't know that he's the guy. But he was talking about how, there's like 7 people in Congress that at 2 a.m. I got to call and talk to them every time. And he, those people, I don't know if you guys talked about this. I don't know that I did. I had highlighted on a list of things to talk about, but that Donald Trump is going to speak at the press corps, the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Did you know that?
I don't know that we.
Did you know he's going to do that?
No.
He's signed up. He's going.
I knew he was going.
The place where he was sitting at a table when Barack Obama made fun of him made fun of Donald Trump for thinking that he'd be the president one day at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. This year, Donald Trump has said, yeah, I think I'm going to do that, which is going to be let's compare numbers. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting way ahead of my skis here, over my skis. Maybe I want to compare numbers to like the Golden Globes and the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Because I think that Donald Trump is going to make that absolute must-watch television. Because if you watched him at the, what's the Catholic dinner? I'm thinking it's the Alfred E. Newman dinner, but that's not right. It's not right. I know that's not right.
It's the bipartisan dinner.
It's a Catholic-driven. Usually, if it's not in the early November, it's at the very end of October. It's right before the election happens. Somebody in the comments here will tell me here shortly if you guys can't figure it out. Or I can Google it. It's this big dinner. Hold on, I'll Google it here. Politics, Trump. Alfred E. Smith. See, I was close.
You were not far.
Yes, obviously. Duh. Alfred E. Newman. could be.
And that's a better way to remember it.
I'm glad that it was closer because I'm like, why am I thinking?
Yeah, why?
Isn't that the Mad
If it was
TV guy?
If it was just like John Thompson, you're like Alfred E. Newman.
Is that Mad Magazine?
Yeah,
kid?
it
Yeah.
is.
That's a different person. I think. I've never seen Alfred E. Smith, so I've never seen him in the same room together. He was hilarious, and he ripped Kamala back and forth on it, and she didn't go. She didn't show up, and he did. And the thing that people that just like live to hate Donald Trump, the thing they hate about him the most is that he's funny. He's a funny dude, and he can take a punch. That's another thing that Donald Trump can do. And everybody says, "Oh, Donald Trump is so sensitive." He is, but that's when people, if people are making jokes, then he can handle it. If people are just spewing ignorant hatred, he's going to fight you to the death. He's going to bring it, and he's going to double it and triple it and make it so that you rue the day that you decided that your hatred was going to trump Trump. It's not going to happen. He will not relent. When President Trump goes out and says about this war and has been consistent from day one that this is going to be short, you could maybe call it a minor incursion. Remember when President Biden said that he would basically only permit a minor incursion from Russia into Ukraine? He's like, anything greater than a minor incursion, and then we're going to have a problem with it. Folks, it's 2026. The minor incursion is major. If Donald Trump is able to go into Iran and the phrase they always use, and I don't like it, is decapitate them. I don't love that. But if they're able to incapacitate their military zealot aggression against anyone who they deem religiously needs to die a miserable death, well, then I'm pretty pumped about it. And if they can, in fact, do that in the matter of 4 to 6 weeks, I mean, it sure as heck doesn't look like a fair fight. I was watching the news earlier this morning, and they were saying, I guess it was yesterday, that between the United States and Israel, they were hitting Iran in different locations on the hour. It's like you could set your clocks to it. They know what they're doing. They're in command. I texted a good friend of mine who served, and I will read to you what I said here before we take a break, because I can't help myself. Watching the coverage on the news about this war, I said, when military types who know anything about whatever our defense capabilities are listen to media types talk about and fret on the air about what our capabilities are, do they just laugh? And his answer was yes. Because I'm watching some, and I'll say this is on a network by network basis. It's not just one particular network. It's not just a left-leaning network. I've seen it on Fox too. Fox also. Fox, the local Fox is like, hey, sorry, I wasn't watching you for your war coverage. When these people are on there and they're talking about they're showing video, and it's pew. That's the narration of the coverage of that. And then they're like, gosh, and then we start talking about sleeper cells, and we start talking about, military strikes on United States soil. The people on the left-leaning organizations, you didn't give a crap about sleeper cells when we kicked the door wide open for people to flood into this country to the tune of millions. Now you're looking in the mirror going, well, I don't even know if you're looking in the mirror, but you're looking at this instance going, this could be bad here. And the truth of the matter is it could be really bad. I think the sleeper cell thing is my biggest fear in all of this. But if you're talking about what is going on in Iran and what Iran can do back to us, and you're hoping that the United States has the military capacity to handle it, guys, we've got the capacity. Now, I don't want to test every little thing, every toy that we have right now, but we've got the capacity. You've got full hair and makeup and studio lighting in a temperature-controlled room, and you're wringing your hands, fretting, hoping. I think these guys got it. I trust them. I say give them steak and lobster. All right, YouTube poll for today. President Trump said the Iran war could end soon. Do you believe him? Go vote. You can text us as well, 314-241-9797. Let's take a quick break, and our friend Hans von Spakovsky here on The Andy Fry Show next.
If you live in Missouri, have Medicaid, and need a caregiver, this message is important. Care at home is personal. That's why you may not want a stranger in your home to take care of you. You want someone who already knows you and your daily routines. With Freedom Care, you choose a trusted family member, a friend, or a neighbor. They will get paid after every shift to care for you, and it's 100% free to you. More than 70,000 people have already joined the Freedom Care family. Call your local Freedom Care. They'll check your Medicaid eligibility. Don't wait until a stranger shows up at your door. If you have Medicaid and need help at home, this care is available 100% free to you. Call Freedom Care now to see if you qualify. 314-343-1362. 314-343-1362. That's 314-343-1362.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
If you can sense spring in the air, you're not alone. It's a perfect time to get Corel Roofing Company to come over and give you a free roofing inspection. Mark Cox here. You know, my friend Curtis has been at this a long time. Here's what he can do. If your insurance company has denied coverage for your roof, call Curtis. He specializes in working with insurance companies. You can get a second assessment from them, and often they're able to work with that insurance adjuster to find a way to get it covered. They are honest. They're going to give you a true evaluation of what's going on. Curtis is not going to overcommit on your roofing job. A lot of other companies do this. Curtis feels like quality suffers and customer service drops off. It's important to pay attention to details. Quality materials, quality workmanship. It's certainly what I got when Corel Roofing put a brand new roof on my house. Call 314-222-9529 right now. Tell them Mark Cox told you to call, or go to CorelRoofingCo.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for the Doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. We call them the Doctors because they've treated more than 250 doctors, more than any other practice in St. Louis. So if you're looking for the best doctors for your best vision, it's Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. Doctors Birdie and Malhotra are cornea surgeons and experts in the diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the eye. I had an eye disease when I was younger. It left me with a silicone buckle around my right eye, so I put my trust in Ophthalmology Associates to take care of my annual checkups. Maybe you're experiencing dry eye, allergy eyes. They can help. They can help with cataracts, macular degeneration, glaucoma, and LASIK surgeries. And if you're looking for the best eye care, it's Ophthalmology Associates. Make an appointment today by calling 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com. They have a great office location just west of 270 on Manchester Road. Again, the phone number, 314-966-5000. The website, youridoc.com. Ophthalmology Associates.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Annie Fry is St. Louis conservative.
You've had conservative senators like Ted Cruz, like Mike Lee of Utah, and say, okay, let's just not have them, filibuster in the shadows. Let's make them come out and speak on the floor, okay? And according to the rules is that you can only speak twice per day. And eventually what you would do is you would run out of exhaustion and you have to have a vote. Okay, there are some nuances to that. And I'm going to take your audience down in the weeds, and there are about 4 people on the planet who will have heard what I'm going to explain right now.
Let's go. Chad Pergram. Take us there.
So here's the key. You keep hearing this business that they can only speak twice a day. Not true. You can only speak twice a day per question on the floor. So in other words, is it the motion to proceed? Is there suddenly an amendment in play? There's something in the Senate called an amendment tree, which you can have, imagine the bill as being the trunk of the tree, and then you have a branch, that's amendment number 1, and then you have a second amendment to that, that's a sprig. So you could speak twice on each of those, plus the trunk. So that's 6 speeches per senator per question on the floor.
So that was Chad Pergram last week, I think it was, talking to us about the filibuster, because we're talking an awful lot about the Save America Act. We've had Senator Schmidt on the show, and he's the one who's pushing this one forward, changing it from the Save Act to the Save America Act and kind of wrapping a few more things into it. But I want to talk a little bit more about the nuts and bolts of the filibuster, and I want to talk to our friends Hans von Spakovsky about that. Of course, Advancing American Freedom Senior Legal Fellow, former FEC Commissioner as well, Hans von Spakovsky with us once again. Hans, welcome back to the show.
Well, thanks for having me back.
So when we're talking to Chad Pergram, he's I've heard him say this multiple times, but when he's covering Congress there for Fox News, he makes it seem like there are, the ins and outs, nuances to the filibuster rule that could make it more complicated than just trying to wear out Chuck Schumer. I'm wondering from you, Hans von Spakovsky, if we wanted to make the Save America Act maybe the only thing that they get done before the midterms by invoking the standing filibuster, do you think there's any way that the Democrats are able to outlast the Republicans and stop the Save America Act with the standing filibuster?
I think they would have a difficult time doing it, but that requires Senator Thune to round up his Republicans and make sure they stay there. One thing, I mean, that was a good explanation of the things going on, but one thing that people shouldn't get confused about. Remember, he said a senator is entitled to speak twice in a day. That's not a calendar day. That's the legislative day. So if the majority says the legislative day to debate this is a week, the entire week is one day. They could say that the entire debate, however long it goes, is just one legislative day. That's how you limit the speeches to just twice, so it doesn't keep going. The other thing they should try to do is to have a vote almost immediately when it gets to the floor on a motion to allow no amendments. And if they can be successful with that, well, then you're really just having debate on the main bill, and each senator only gets to vote twice.
If you were to propose that no amendment bill, is that a simple majority pass, or would they have to get the 60 for that as well?
I'd have to double check the rules. I think it's a single pass, but that's one way. If you look at other bills that have been handled when Democrats have been there have been times when they've brought bills to the floor and said they won't allow any amendments to it.
Hans von Spakovsky speaking with us. Of course, the Save America Act has everything to do with election integrity. You've literally written the book on it. I'm curious what you think about the Save America Act. Does it solve our problems if we were able to get this passed? Do you think that this is the fix that is needed to restore integrity to our election system?
It's just one of the fixes. The main thing it does is require proof of citizenship when you register to vote. But keep in mind, it would only apply going forward. So in other words, everybody who's already registered wouldn't have to provide proof of citizenship. So we don't know how many aliens are already registered and potentially voting. We just had a guy arrested who's been voting continuously. This was just in the news in the past week. An illegal alien who was supposed to have been removed from the country decades ago.
Hans, I was told that never happens. I was told there are no illegal aliens voting in the elections.
Right. And he's been repeatedly voting in election after election. And would this completely solve the problem? No, but it would start to fix the problem. And I can tell you, if this was a requirement, hopefully it would deter and scare aliens who are currently registered into taking themselves off the rolls.
So Hans von Spakovsky speaking with us right now. I want to tie in the Save America Act with what we've seen the Department of Justice doing in Georgia, and now there's action that has taken place in Arizona. I think was it Maricopa County. What are you anticipating coming out of these investigations in these two areas? Obviously, very hotbed areas of question marks for people like you, like us, who were watching the 2020 election and since.
Well, look, I'm glad they're trying to do this, but I got to tell you, I have my doubts about whether the Justice Department has the resources and capability of actually investigating these voter registration files. I mean, to just give you a quick example, remember they seized recently 315,000 ballot images down in Fulton County, Georgia, right? Well, look, the only way to prove whether or not there were illegal votes cast is to take every single one of those ballots, find out and check the 315,000 registered voters. You'd have to check every single name and figure out, well, were any of them dead when the votes were cast? Were any of them aliens? Were any of them people who actually didn't live in Georgia? That's a lot of work. Checking 315,000 names on a voter list. I'm not sure that the Justice Department has the people to do that.
Hans von Spakovsky speaking with us right now, Advancing American Freedom Senior Legal Fellow. I have a conversation every few weeks or so with Dustin Grage. He's an on-the-ground reporter, grassroots reporter from Minnesota. So we've talked a lot about the election system there, where I can vouch for people. I can, but well, I don't know. Maybe I can. They don't seem to have very tight rules. But you could go to the polls and say, yeah, these people are good, and that's enough to give them ballots so that they can vote.
Right.
Do you feel like Georgia has Georgia problems and Arizona has Arizona problems and Minnesota and Minneapolis have those kind of problems? Or is what you're seeing in one area probably happening all over the country in other areas?
Well, you have to look at the fact that they have very different laws. Georgia actually has now a voter ID law that applies to in-person voting and absentee balloting. Minnesota has nothing like that. So in Minnesota, it's a heck of a lot easier to check. Georgia also now has started apparently using its access to the Department of Homeland Security's alien database to try to verify the citizenship of registered voters. Minnesota is a sanctuary state. They have no interest in doing that. So yeah, you find similar kinds of fraud and mistakes in different states, but some states are actually trying to do something about it and others aren't. I can tell you right today, a lot easier to cheat in Minnesota than it is in Georgia.
Hans, this is Ryan. Concerning Maricopa County, Arizona, and all of the data that the FBI has apparently gotten from there just recently this week. You said it would take 315,000 ballots they'd have to go through, but could they take the results of the audit, which already, did some of that, and just look at the ones that the audit found to be problematic?
Well, they could. Now, the 315,000 votes I was talking about was the seizures down in Fulton County, Georgia. But with Maricopa, yeah, there was an extensive audit done. How good was that audit? At the very least, they ought to start looking at the errors, mistakes, and problems that the audit turned up. But again, that takes a lot of people. It takes a lot of resources. It takes a lot of computer capability to do that. And again, how experienced is the FBI in those kind of investigations? As far as I know, they don't have any experience in doing those kind of investigations.
Hans von Spakovsky, last question before we let you go. I would imagine it's going to take a lot of time, a lot of resolve, and as you've mentioned here, a lot of resources to get our election systems to have the utmost integrity. Do you feel like are you encouraged by where we are right now in 2026, like maybe with the mentality and some of the effort? Do you think we're still lagging far, far behind in order to make this, make the progress that we need in order to ensure that our elections are fair?
Oh, listen, we have vastly improved since the 2020 election. That 2020 election was a spur to many legislators, mostly in red states, to actually pass legislation to improve things. That's why, for example, Georgia and Texas extended their voter ID laws to absentee balloting. That wasn't the case before. So no, we've vastly improved. Does that mean we don't still have problems? No, we do still have problems. And that's particularly an issue in blue states who seem to have no interest whatsoever in securing their election process.
Yeah, it's odd. I wonder why. Hans, thank you for being with us today. We always love talking to you.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
Take care. Bye-bye. Hans von Spakovsky, an expert when it comes to the election system, as a former FEC commissioner. It's always great to have him on the show with us. Former DOJ lawyer as well. Advancing American Freedom Senior Legal Fellow, Hans von Spakovsky, right there. If you want to text us on the YouTube poll for today, obviously go to YouTube, Annie Frey Show channel, and vote. But you can give us your thoughts in text message form. The Annie Frey text line, 314-241-9797. President Trump has said the Iran war could end soon. Do you believe him? Let us know what you think. You trust him? Yes? No, it's going to drag on forever? Or maybe it just kind of depends on what Iran does. 314-241-9797. If you'd like to text us your thoughts, we'd love to read them. Ryan will filter them through, keep them brief, and they are more likely to get read on the air. All right, let's take a break. We got Fred Fleitz coming up in the 1 o'clock hour to give us the latest information on this should-be 4-week ending soon war in Iran. One of the questions that I want to ask Fred is his reaction to both Russia and China's actions or non-actions in reaction to our events in Iran. Because I'm kind of curious about that. They haven't stepped up in a big way to back Iran, at least not that I know of. Fred Fleitz will tell us at 1:05. Back in a minute.
Outsider Jeannie Evans for U.S. Senate. Evans is a proven fighter and the only candidate for U.S. Senate with guts and know-how to get the job done. As an attorney, she took on China and corporate criminals. Jeannie Evans won billions for working families. As senator, Evans will fight and win for you. She'll work to cut taxes and lower the cost of living. Evans believes that keeping Illinois safe will take more than just wishful thinking. It takes courage, and Jeannie Evans has the record to prove it. Evans will always be tough on crime. She'll hold China accountable for trafficking fentanyl and stealing our personal data. Jeannie Evans puts America first. A proven fighter. Conservative outsider Jeannie Evans for U.S. Senate.
I'm Jeannie Evans, Republican candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Jeannie for Illinois.
Okay, I have some really good news. While we do have the 0% a lot, we do have it on our regular products because you will be unbelievably shocked, especially if you call me and I'll give you the straight up scoop on how much money you can actually save by if you spent $20,000 versus $10,000 on a system. The difference could be as little as, I don't know, let's just say, not to exaggerate, 5 cents. So be careful out there, and always remember your energy savings is based on your house. It is not based on the equipment. So common sense advice and help and guidance. Again, call me Bart Inman, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. The easiest, 314-293-2600. Again, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Or on the internet, that is bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
It's time for you to get to know my friends at Lit Cigar Lounge in Chesterfield, where luxury meets comfort. Mark Cox here. They have a great selection of rare bourbons, whiskeys, craft cocktails, anything you like to drink, cold beer, premium hand-rolled cigars from the finest makers in the world, even private lockers that are available if you choose to. Perfect for date nights or business meetings, and live music every Friday night. Family owned and operated. Check them out in Chesterfield at the District. It's litstl.com.
This is Don Tracy, Republican candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approved this message. Election day is on March 17th, and I'm asking you to vote now because the American dream is under attack in Illinois. My Democrat opponents have driven up the cost of living for all of us and made life more unaffordable. Working families need a strong leader who will champion common sense solutions over far-left extreme agendas. I'm Don Tracy, running for U.S. Senate to defend the American dream. Learn more at DonTracyForIL.com. This message is paid for by Don Tracy for Illinois NFP.
All right, our YouTube live chat poll for the day is President Trump said that the war could end soon. Do you believe him? Let us know what you think about that topic, and we will get you the results at the end of the show. Interested to see how this one ends up. Also, Jimmy Fallon is coming to town April 11th. We are giving away tickets again today, so stay tuned for your chance to win. It is 12:37. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com. From the gateway to the airwaves. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. The poll, President Trump said the Iran war could end soon. Do you believe him? We're going to speak with Fred Fleitz at 1:05. He is the vice chair for the America First Policy Institute Center for American Security. A few things on his resume: former NSC chief of staff, CIA analyst, and House of Intelligence Committee staff member. Ryan, what's on your resume?
Used to work at 3 golf courses.
Whoa.
Yeah, throughout most of college.
Did you get fired from the first 2?
No, I left
All 3?
one. Yeah. I left one to go to another, better offer. And then I moved. So
what does a better offer from the next golf course for Cart Boy look like?
Well, the head pro at one of them moved to a different course and said, "I think you'd be great here." And I was 16 and I was easily flattered. I said, "Really?"
Yeah, unlike 45-year-old you.
Oh, now I'd see right through that. But then
I can get you to do anything if I make you feel good about yourself. That's why I never flatter you. I don't want to take advantage of you.
You know what? If you know that and still are not doing it, I encourage you to do it.
Oh, I'm sure you would.
I'd feel great.
You literally
get
say,
things done.
I'm reading the poll. President Trump said the Iran war could end soon. Do you believe him? Text us at 314-241-9797. Every other day you said, and send compliments.
Oh, yeah, I love compliments. They're the best. And they need to be genuine, you guys.
All right, fine.
Stop with the nonsense.
All right, fine. People are sending their thoughts. Why don't you read the compliment that someone just sent the show?
Okay.
I said not to start with this one, and I've changed the plan.
This comment says, that segment, which I think is referring to the first segment, not Hans, is an example of why I stopped listening after January 6th.
Sounds like you didn't.
That's true. I'm going to do a Trump. That's true.
It's true.
Your amount of delusion and whataboutism is pretty on par for you bunch of Trump-sucking dorks. You are...
Dork is such a great insult. Dork, that goes back, man. That's like ours. That's a Gen X elder millennial insult. You call someone a dork? Like, you don't get to call people... Like, the dorks were in charge there for a minute in the last 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
Not anymore.
I like calling people nerds, too.
I'm actually flattered that he had... I'm assuming it's a he or she.
I don't know.
They probably just misgendered them. Sorry. Had the guts to belittle us and call us dorks. Bring dork back. Put that on our show.
Yeah, bring dork back.
Put that on our show bump.
Whoever makes our signage, those nerds, they should put that on there.
You're midday dorks. Dorking it out.
It says that, let me finish
Noon
this
to
comment
3.
now. It says, you are the minority now, and you will lose in November.
I think we are the majority up until someone suggests differently. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what'll happen in November. And neither do you, sir. Here is another great comment. Ryan is great.
Oh, Lord.
Very funny.
Do not encourage him, people.
Makes the show fun. And then followed up with a text right afterwards. I'm not sure if it's associated. It says, my dog smiles.
Oh.
I don't know. It may be a completely different thought. And then another text right afterwards. Ryan's a stud. Love you guys.
President Trump said the Iran war could end soon. If anybody wants to text us about the poll, instead of either how much we suck or how great Ryan is, this is not going according to plan.
This is flow. Just flow with whatever you're feeling.
You texted the show during the break, didn't you?
I did not. I would never do that.
Yes, you absolutely would.
Now that you've made a suggestion.
Yeah,
I never
exactly.
thought about doing that. I'm going to do it.
It's a completely separate conversation before we go to a break here real quick. The Lutheran high school that my son goes to in Edwardsville does an interim trip. Every year they have a week where they don't do regular school, and they have all of these different like hyper studies. I don't know what you would call them. Like several of them are community service oriented, and you have to, one of your 4 years in high school, choose a community service one. So freshmen, they always do community service. Get it done and get it out of the way. There are ones that are like I think my son, this is classic, 16-year-old boy. He didn't get his thing in time, so he got put in smoking and barbecue.
Community service?
No, he did the community service last year as a freshman.
Oh.
One of them is like learning how to smoke and barbecue food,
Oh,
which
okay.
I know you old men think is great. He's 16. He has someone who smokes and barbecues things for him, and that's called Dad, and he is not of that caliber yet. But he's going to learn because he should have got his paperwork in time turned in. He came home yesterday, and the other thing that they'll do is they'll usually take a trip that is domestic, and they'll take an overseas trip. So you can pick. You don't have to do the overseas trip or anything like that, but you can pick to do it. And they plan it a year out because they do a ton of fundraising. And he came home and he goes, Mom, they announced what the foreign trip is for interim next year, and I think I might want to do it. Now, granted, this is during the springtime, and since my husband is a public school teacher, he's not really portable in that regard, so I would have to go to it. It's Norway, Denmark, and Sweden.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
Those countries ain't cheap.
Well, I'm actually here to ask you for money. No kidding. Have you guys haven't done any of that, right?
No.
No.
Are you going to do it?
I don't know. Wouldn't that be cool, though? I want to do it, but I don't want to, like, physically go there. Can we do it, like, VR style?
Well, yeah, you could just Zoom with somebody in Sweden, sure. I mean, if that's what that's not really much of a replacement.
I can't just Zoom with somebody in Sweden. I don't know anybody in Sweden.
Well,
I could be there.
I bet this program could connect you with somebody in Finland. My
Norway, Denmark, and Sweden.
Norway, Denmark, and Sweden. Okay. So my grandma, before she got to where she wasn't really traveling much, she just passed away in October. She traveled to those countries. I think she also did Finland, though, which is why I said that. And she said it was one of the best trips she ever went on, although everything was very expensive.
Yeah.
And this was before COVID.
Yeah. I feel like those places, when I see those places in movies or on television or whatever, they just don't look like they're real places.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And once you see a place like that, and I have very limited exposure to this, Hawaii was my last summer thing, which is like a transformative experience for me to know, like, that place exists right now. There are people just living there, enjoying that life right now. Not that there's anything wrong with, Greater St. Louis, but there's more to see. And then you go see it, and you're like, these places just exist. And it seems, until you, like, feel it, touch it, smell it, experience it, it's just kind of a fantasy land.
That's the way I feel about our zoo.
You can go. It's free. Not unlike Scandinavia. I don't know. I'm curious if any of our listeners have been, message us and let me know if I should go. I think it would be great to be there and see it.
I'm texting you right now that you should go.
Oh, Lord. The other thing is being able to go with my son, I think would be great. Mm-hmm. But I don't know about all those other kids. I have to help supervise. So
there you go. I just texted you.
Did you text me or did you text the show?
I texted you.
You literally did. It says, go to Sweden. I think I know your angle in this. I think you're hoping
I just want
for
you
the worst.
to enjoy. I want you to enjoy a beautiful landscape. Which I know you always talk about how much you love landscapes.
Landscapes. I like
landscaping.
Yeah, I like my feet on the ground too. Norway, Denmark, and Sweden. I can't believe that he wanted to do it. The other thing here is that my daughter will be at the same high school. She could go too.
Ooh.
And then I will be asking you for money. We'll be right back. Don't go away. All right, Stewart's American Mortgage. If you're looking to take some equity out of your home because you want to take a really sweet trip, you know what I'm saying? You want to maybe tap into that increased equity, lower the mortgage rate that you locked in a few years ago when you purchased your home. You're going to want a bagel loan. Smart move with Stewart's American Mortgage, because that refinance on your current mortgage, it's not going to cost you anything to do it. When you get to that closing cost point, he doesn't have any closing costs. There are no closing fees. He just takes care of them for you. So call 314-324-4440. I have refinanced twice with Stewie. Both times I was able to significantly lower my rates. The second time I did it was in 2020. Rates were super basement low. I've got a great one now. If you are looking to lower yours, if you're looking to just get some of those equity dollars out of your house, pay down high interest credit card debt, whatever it might be, reach out to Stewie and just start the conversation. No commitment. He's great to work with. He's a really wonderful, genuine guy, and he wants what's best for you. And that's how he gets customer after customer after customer bragging about the Bagel Loan. 314-324-4440. Google the Bagel Loan at MLS number 226715.
What's happening now
Why don't we just airdrop Lindsey Graham in the middle of Iran right now?
is happening here.
The Democrat minority in Congress is deliberately sabotaging our national security at home.
97.1 FM Talk.
License number GL250000615.
Hey, it's good to see you.
Two sounds that can wreck your sleep. A drip and a toilet that won't stop running.
Drip, drip, all night.
Good news. We're doing plumbing now. Same folks, same care, same we do it right.
Leaky faucet, running toilet.
Or a stubborn clog, call Grasser.
Electric and plumbing, the Grasser way.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. This is State Representative Charlie Meyer. Southern Illinois is a special place. The farms, the families, our way of life. That's what I'm fighting for in Springfield, standing with Trump, fighting for lower taxes, supporting our farms, and protecting life in our Second Amendments. My family has lived in Southern Illinois for 6 generations. I won't stop fighting for the place I love. I'm Charlie Meyer, and I'm honored to earn your vote on March 17th. Paid for by Citizens for Charlie Meyer.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
A reminder, you can text us on the YouTube live chat poll at 314-241-9797. Tell us about your thoughts on if you believe President Trump when he says the Iran war could end soon. Let us know what you think.
Wiggins!
Wiggins!
Some of these are fairly obvious, but these are reasons why you should stop posting your entire life online as you get older.
Or maybe never start.
Maybe you should never start, but if you already have, these are maybe reasons you should curtail it.
You're embarrassing yourself.
Number 1, you are embarrassing. No.
Some
might
of
be.
you.
You might
Some
be,
of
though.
you.
You might be. Before we get into this, is there anybody that you have in your feed, whether they be Twitter, probably Facebook, Instagram, that you don't really like reading what they post, but you can't not read it?
Yeah, your stuff.
That's not where I saw this going, but now that we're
even
here.
True. I watch your dumb videos.
I don't post that much.
I quoted one of your dumb videos yesterday on the show.
That was great.
I'm going to be honest. I have learned that the people in my life are way more important than the posts in my feed. And if my social media feed makes me feel about somebody differently than I want to feel about them when I'm in person with them, I just hide them or unfollow them or whatever. I don't unfriend them. I assume that pretty much I don't know if anybody follows me anymore. I don't post political things in my private stuff. So,
separate question, is it weird to bring up something you saw somebody post online in person?
Kind of depends on the person and the thing.
I guess so. All right, these are reasons to stop posting all that stuff. First one is that you realize the attention that you're getting isn't the same thing as real connection.
Vague posting is the worst.
Vague posting?
Yeah, you're sending a message to one person.
Oh.
Not using any names. I'm guilty of it, but I've grown out of it.
I've read that. I've never done that. Although I'm going to start. The second one is you've been burned by people using posts against them. Like people have used your posts against you in some way because it's public. If you put something public out there, people could use this in lawsuits even.
Yeah. Divorces.
Yeah, exactly. You've experienced real grief that changed your relationship.
What is it? What?
You go through something devastating, a loss, betrayal, or life-altering event. It changes how you engage with the world, and suddenly it feels strange to perform or put joyful things while you're still grieving, to open up while you're still trying to understand what happened to yourself. That's probably a bad place to be posting because you yourself don't even really know what you're feeling.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost for me like social media is, and I'm in a little bit of a different perspective or position than a lot of people are, but instead of saying, nope, don't do that, and don't do that, and don't do that, there are very few things that you should do. There's a lot that you shouldn't. But there are very few things that you want to share. I share most of the things, the photos that I share are so that I get to view them again like a year later. 6 years ago, you were doing this. And it's like, oh, yeah, it's an archive almost for me.
Me too.
But I don't need to feel on social media.
Yeah, I don't really need a whole lot of reaction when I post a picture of my kid. It's just so that next year at this time, it'll come back and I go, oh, yeah, that was fun. You've learned to value presence over performance. It's better to be present with people than just to be performing for them via socials.
Yeah, I think that I find myself looking at other people's social media feeds who share everything. And I don't think that I will not judge the intentions of the posts. But there are some people who just share everything. And if they're proud of their kid, they share that they're proud of their kid. Why wouldn't they? They're proud of their kid. But if you get wrapped up in a feed of everybody else doing all the good things and celebrating all the awesome accomplishments, and you didn't accomplish something in the last 5 minutes, and you're like, oh, God, then you understand why 14-year-old kids look at social media and become depressed. Adults do the same thing, too, especially, I don't know that men do it as much as women, but I'm sure that they're susceptible to some extent.
I think everybody does this to an extent on socials, but it is sad when you see somebody that is posting things that they really are just seeking validation. I got a person in my life that does that. And I mean, today or recently even was like, I need your validation on this. Like just saying it outright. And I'm thinking, buddy, you need Jesus's validation.
No, well, yeah.
And that'll help go a long way. Last one is you are becoming more protective of your relationships. So you're not posting everything about everything, because you know that maybe the other people don't want you to post that stuff.
My son's 16, my daughter's 13, and I do ask them before I post pictures of them on my Facebook page. Now, they've grown up with me posting pictures of them on their Facebook page, but I am intentional now about saying, hey, is this an okay picture to post? And if they said no, I won't post it, because I don't want them to think that I'm working against them in that regard.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if there's kids out there probably will be, who feel like they've been used by their parents.
Well, there's a law in the state of Illinois now that you have to set aside money that if you have a social media platform that you utilize your children to make that money, you have to set aside a portion of that money for your children now, which is a really interesting topic we could just dive into. Fred Fleitz on the Annie Fry Show next, the vice chair of the America First Policy Institute Center for American Security. We're going to talk about Iran war. Don't go away.
The ACA Market Plan has just announced significant increases on their monthly premiums for 2026, with deductibles over $10,000. You can enroll with Greg Hammond's Freedom of Choice plans now. You don't have to wait. One of their plans lets you use any doctor, has zero outpatient deductibles, and it's 30 to 60% lower than most Obamacare plans. Other options are full coverage PPOs with national networks, copays, and 100% annual preventative care. Also, there's no income disclosure required, so no potential tax penalties. If you pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Greg, and they'll provide all available options. Call 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to greghammonds.com. That's greghammonds.com. He can custom design a plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
AirComfortService.com. That's the website right now. We are in that classic St. Louis week where the weather is going to do all of the things in 1 week. So I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and their house was creeping up towards 80 degrees. It was in the upper 70s. And I'm like, it's 76 degrees in this house. They said, yeah, I know. It's so warm. I'm like, turn your AC on. They're like, we can't. It's March. And I'm like, but it's March in St. Louis. You're going to turn the heater on tonight? Just turn the AC on now. I don't think I won that battle. But you're giving your HVAC system a heavy workout right now. And you want to make sure that everything is in great working order, residentially and commercially. This is one of the things I want to make sure that you understand, that in the bi-state region, Missouri and Illinois alike, commercial businesses, they are relying on Air Comfort Service, the HVAC services that they provide, to go to the place where they're going to get the great service and the right solutions the first time. If you're looking to get an HVAC system fixed or replaced, call 314-513-0091. 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis, laugh it up with Jimmy Fallon live at the Factory on Saturday, April 11th. From national radio to sold-out comedy clubs, Jimmy delivers fast, fearless stand-up that hits home.
The only ones raising tough kids anymore. The redneck babies are going to take on ISIS. The hipster babies are going to battle the evil forces of gluten. You know what I'm saying?
Grab your friends and get ready for a night of laughs. One show, one night only. Don't miss Jimmy Fallon, April 11th at the Factory. Get your tickets now at thefactorystl.com. That's thefactorystl.com.
According to MasterCard, nearly half of small businesses have been a victim of a cyber attack. As cybercrime escalates, ThrottleNet is calling on businesses to strengthen their security posture by taking a free online IT security audit right from your desk. This 3-minute online assessment provides an immediate score to see security gaps and vulnerabilities in your network. For 26 years, ThrottleNet has supported your business IT everything right here in St. Louis. In fact, no client of ThrottleNet has ever paid a ransom. So visit throttlenet.com/971 to take the free assessment today.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
An active shooter situation at a synagogue in Michigan. I'm Lisa Brady. The FBI director just posting personnel are on the scene with partners in Michigan responding to an apparent vehicle ramming and active shooter situation at Temple Israel Synagogue in West Bloomfield Township, that's outside Detroit. This follows an incident in Grand Blanc, Michigan last fall when a gunman rammed a truck into a chapel, then opened fire.
These two areas are just about less than an hour apart from each other in Michigan. So this has been something that has been on people's minds there.
Fox's Garrett Tenney.
These are still very raw emotions that are there from just a few months ago. And that's something that everyone in that area is watching this and thinking back to. And then particularly with this heightened threat environment we have with the Iran war and with these escalated threats against people of faith, particularly those of the Jewish faith, and against synagogues, that all of that is on the mind here.
Smoke rising from the synagogue where there's a huge police presence. The Oakland County Sheriff says they're working to clear the building where children who were in an early childhood learning center have been allowed to leave with their parents. But there's a shelter-in-place order for everyone within a mile of the temple. Again, it's an apparent vehicle ramming and active shooter incident. There are reports law enforcement saw and engaged with the shooter, but there's no word yet on any injuries or anyone in custody. Iran's new leader vowing revenge for Operation Epic Fury.
We heard indirectly today from Iran's supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, who made remarks through state media. Basically, you had a TV presenter reading what they say is a written statement from Mojtaba Khamenei.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. That statement also urging Gulf neighbors hosting U.S. bases to expel the Americans, but not mentioning Iran's retaliatory strikes on Gulf nations that don't house U.S. forces. America is listening to Fox News.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZzzQuil Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZzzQuil Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZzzQuil Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
I move mountains for a living.
Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolade spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Well, there's sunshine out there, but compared to the last couple of days, it's chilly, 56 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy. The winds turn to the south. It's kind of windy overnight, 45. Friday, partly sunny, windy at 62. And partly sunny on Saturday. Sunday, rain and some thunderstorms, windy and 66. Rain and some wet snow mixing in Sunday night as we dip to 22. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Get a free air scrubber and breathe healthy indoor air when you replace your HVAC system. Plus, you may qualify for rebates up to $2,600 and 0% financing up to 72 months. For a free estimate, aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Rain.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Have you been briefed about how many Iran sleeper cells there could be inside the U.S. right now?
I have been, and a lot of people came in through Biden with this stupid open border. But we know where most of them are. We've got our eye on all of them, I think.
Is it dozens?
They came in through the open border policies of Sleepy Joe Biden, one of the worst president in the history of our country. And we've got our eyes on all of them. But the war itself is being prosecuted at a level that nobody's seen before. It's pretty amazing to watch.
President Trump speaking yesterday about the worry that I know a lot of people have about sleeper cells here, their presence within the United States, the contiguous United States, those areas that are right here around us, around people who are trying to go about their business. It does appear as though the war in Iran is going according to plan, according to the intentions of the administration, of the Department of War. But we do have to pay attention to those things that that could transpire here in the homeland. Let's talk to an expert guest. Fred Fleitz back with us, Vice Chair for the America First Policy Institute Center for American Security, as well as a former NSC Chief of Staff, CIA analyst, and House of Intelligence Committee staff member. Fred, welcome back to the show. Thanks for being with us.
Hey, Annie, good to be here.
I want to give you the opportunity to kind of react to the concern that American citizens would have right now for sleeper cells. I suppose those American citizens could be those that are overseas as well, all across the world at this point. We've taken decisive action, obviously, against Iran, been successful in doing so. Do you have concern about sleeper cells here in the United States?
Look, it's a significant threat. We know that 11 million illegal aliens came in when Biden was president, and last year, the Attorney General said that 1,500 illegal aliens arrested by the Trump administration were Iranians. Now, I think that there's a risk in this country, but it's even greater abroad because the FBI is pretty good at identifying these people who are a threat to our country. And we're actually seeing more terrorist attacks right now against U.S. soldiers and embassies in other countries. So I think there's a severe risk. There is a risk of sleeper cells in this country, but I think the risk abroad is even worse.
Has this administration, in the lead up before we actually made this strike on Iran, or maybe even the one last summer, are the efforts to deport the people who are here illegally, have they made us safer for this moment in time?
I think they have, and I know they've really tried to target nationals for countries who are a problem. But I'll tell you something else. 99 individuals who were on the terrorist watch list during the Biden administration, they identified them and they let them into the U.S. population. Wow. And some of them are ISIS members. So think about the gotaways, the people who cross our borders, and we don't know who they are. Those were the real dangerous Iranian agents. And we're always bashing the FBI for politics or for meddling in elections and stuff like that. But the FBI actually has a pretty good record at tracking and finding these people. Mm-hmm. For example, There's a Pakistani national who was indicted a couple of weeks ago for trying to kill President Trump in 2024. Iranian intelligence recruited him and told him to come to the U.S. to kill Trump, and we caught him because he tried to organize his plot with FBI informants. That's how good they are.
Fred Fleitz speaking with us. I know you only have another minute or two, so I'm going to ask a big question and give you the remaining amount of our time with you to answer it. What's your assessment of the success of this action that the United States has taken in Iran, and also your reaction to Russia and China's actions or non-actions in the wake of what the United States has been doing in Iran?
I think the operation has been extraordinarily successful. The main purpose of it is to stop Iran from getting a nuclear weapon, to stop it from getting a missile shield that will protect its nuclear weapons development. I'm worried that China and Russia are involved, but I think it's very interesting that they don't really seem to be willing to give any serious support to the Iranians. And note that Security Council resolution that passed yesterday criticizing Iran for attacking neighboring states. Russia and China didn't veto it. It's unprecedented.
It is. Well, Fred Fleitz, we're grateful for your time today. We appreciate it. We value it. We look forward to having you back again soon.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. A quick hit there with Fred Fleitz. He was very kind to step out of a meeting to have that conversation with us. I don't think that's something that really is being talked about a lot right now. I don't hear it being talked about in the 5-minute segments that of the news that I consume in full, where people are really talking about the China and Russia contingent. I mean, Russia's got their hands full with a war that is maybe just going to last forever in Ukraine. I mean, if you really think about the magnitude of Russia and the size of Ukraine, and that Russia is still just like present and accounted for and just kind of continuing to chip away. I guess if you don't value your human resources the way Russia doesn't seem to value their human resources, that it really could go on forever. But, China has a lot to lose when it comes to the rerouting of the world's oil supply, first from Venezuela, now second from Iran, both places that were very supportive of providing that energy to China. But I did also hear someone say that China's efforts to not rely on oil as an energy supply, that they are rapidly moving in that direction, which would track for something that China would do to have the foresight to know that they need to unplug themselves from being beholden to these other countries and the oil that is in the ground in places that they have to go through in order to get. If we're talking like, initially everybody, you find out that we're doing the bombing, and the first thought I have is this World War III? Does everybody jump in? Iran, we see they're just bombing everybody. To me, it's like I'm thinking of like Looney Tunes. They're like turning their head, lighting the fuse, and the bomb goes off and it lands where it lands. They're hitting their neighboring, generally sympathetic or whatever to their cause neighbors, the countries around them that you would think are going to be not necessarily like, all right, Iran, we're going to fight this war with you, but maybe like we're not going to sync up with the United States and Israel and do their bidding. Iran is willy-nilly out there throwing bombs literally in any which way direction. And China and Russia have not made big, bold statements. And I think that matters at this point in time.
I remember back after the war on terror started, George W. Bush, some of the Middle Eastern nations that were saying, here's why we're doing what we're doing. We're saying, well, it's because George W. Bush is kind of a cowboy, and we don't know what to expect of him. So we don't always act the way that we would like to because we don't know what to expect from the United States. If George W. Bush was unpredictable, imagine Trump. I mean, Trump is like the ultimate, I'm not going to let you know what I'm doing. And so he keeps nations like China and Russia guessing. So it's no surprise that they're not stepping in here because they're probably afraid of him too.
Going back to my initial comment that I made in like the first segment where I messaged my friend who was involved with the military, served it out full, retired from the Army here within the last few months. When you're watching the news, people, I'm including myself in this, and I'm always trying to check myself before I wreck myself, trying to be some sort of like wargaming expert, because that I am not. The capacity that the United States military has that we're aware of is a fraction I remember I've told this story before. I have a dear friend, a family member of a friend who worked for McDonnell Douglas and Boeing. And this would have been 15 years ago. I was at their house and they said, because, I mean, you got to remember, my senior year, September 11th, we've been at war essentially my entire adult life. There have been moments of peace that have existed there. And like even the war on terror was something that ended up just kind of being a part of the sun rises in the east, it sets in the west, and we're in Afghanistan and Iraq or whatever, which is what we're trying to avoid happening again, certainly. But I remember sitting there and he goes, Annie, I know with certainty that my grandkids and their grandkids are going to be protected. And I was like, that's cool. And I've held on to that. If he was lying to me, I'm grateful for it. Because that, I think back to I know like what the sunlight looked like in the room when he told me that, because it gave me great peace, because I know that he didn't tell me what that meant. He just told me, because I was maybe a little anxious about whatever was going on. This might have been about the time that Russia was going into Crimea or something like that. I don't know. I think it was an Obama presidency. Tensions were high in the world and like
2014-ish.
Boundary lines were not being observed by all the countries. And there was a very strong level of confidence that was presented to me. Now, like I said, that may have been an exaggeration. I don't think it was. China is the place that I feel like they also have things. You know, if it's China and the United States, now we're talking about things that seem futuristic to us we developed 2 decades ago. But so did they. If Iran is doing what Iran is doing, which is just, I mean, Iran acts like a drunk person, but instead of being drunk on booze, they're drunk on a religion that makes the leaders feel missioned to murder. It's not just, you know, it's not just a faith that's like, you should live your life like this. You should not live your life like that. It is part of the mission of these people. They believe they're doing their God's bidding by killing infidels, and they lead their country like that. So you have a religion that is empowered by these weapons, and they're pointed at the direction of people who they deem necessary to die, and then they are flippant about it. You have a conversation with Steve Witkoff, who's there to try to negotiate. How many administrations have worked to negotiate with the likes of what have been, in my lifetime, what I would consider enemy countries? The Trump administration has economically, in every way that they feel like they can flex any muscle, tried to encourage these countries to just chill the heck out. How can we work together? I remember him saying when he went to the Middle East, like the things that happened at the very beginning of the second term, they all really make a lot of sense, because pushing hard and fast in deporting people from our country that are hardened criminals that came here from God knows where, but also saying from the beginning, before the election, people elected Donald Trump knowing that he said that if you're here illegally, we're going to deport you. That was a commitment he made to voters to earn their vote, and it did. A majority of the American people who voted for Donald Trump. So he's fulfilling a commitment, a campaign commitment in his presidency, but they work to deport people, like I was saying with Fred Fleitz there. You know, how much of a factor is it that we went hard and fast on deporting people who were here, finding the worst of the worst? What was the FBI's summer operation, summer something? It wasn't the summer of love. It was the opposite of that. But Kash Patel, yeah, there's a plan. Google it. That they went and worked hard to clean up the streets as much as they possibly could, to ensure that we were taking, like, all of the criminals that are out there, that we know that are out there. Let's put all of our resources into finding them and getting them the hell out of here. What's it called?
Summer Heat.
Summer Heat.
You were almost there.
It's the sequel to Summer of Love. First you have a Summer of Love, and then you have Summer Heat.
Described as a nationwide 3-month FBI-led initiative, June through September 25, that targeted violent crime, resulting in 8,600 arrests, 2,200 seized firearms, and 1,000 rescued child victims.
All right, lefties. Hate on that. Give it your best shot. How do you look at something like that? How do you not champion something like that? How is the headline news every day not how many children that we found? There was a story of a child. I saw Paul Morrow retweeted it, and he was just talking about the police work in it. But there was a police officer, I believe it was in South Carolina, who pulled somebody over, and it was an adult in the car with a 16-year-old kid. The 16-year-old girl was reported missing a month ago, and when they were pulled over, the man said, "Oh, it's my sibling or daughter or something like that. It was a family relation." They did a little more digging, and he's like, "Well, it's a family relation." And then he detained the girl and put the girl in the car. The girl says, "This is my real name." Officer looks her up, finds out she's a missing person, I think maybe from North Carolina from a month ago. Goes back and finds out this guy's got a rap sheet a mile long. And all I could think of is, praise the Lord that they found her alive. I don't know what happened in those 30 days between when she went missing and where she is now. Maybe she was lured out on the internet and she left on her own will, but got stuck up in something. Why are we not championing the recovery of all of these children? The Biden administration put children in the stead of people who are sex offenders. If it was found out that happened one time in the Trump administration, it would be the lead news story. I mean, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing that we have, what is it, like 32%? That might be high. It might be like 23% of our politically invested electorate is so obsessed with Donald Trump that they could never even admit that that's a good thing. There'd be a reason why it wasn't good enough, why it was bad, whatever. Now, I don't know, is it the equal opposite that there's 23% who don't think that President Trump can do anything wrong ever? I mean, even Donald Trump admits that he makes mistakes, if you pay attention to him.
Well, I always refer to that poll that they did after the Biden-Trump debate, that 30 to 35% of people said Biden clearly won that debate. Now,
they didn't even watch the debate.
That's the number of people that would hear something like this and go,
Yeah.
"Oh, I can't endorse that." 55 field offices partnered with state and local law enforcement to disrupt violent gangs and drug trafficking, seizing significant quantities of fentanyl and cocaine.
I don't think that Donald Trump is a perfect man. I think he's flawed in the ways that all human beings are, and maybe his are a little brighter colored from time to time. But what he is doing for the long haul for this country, unmatched in my lifetime. We'll be right back.
I'm Ted Dabrowski. I'm running for governor to breathe new life into our party and improve the quality of life in our state. Let's be honest about how we defeat Pritzker. Victory runs through the suburbs, and Darren Bailey is a disaster in the suburbs. To renominate him is to concede defeat. It's why Pritzker wanted to run against him 4 years ago and wants to again. Do you really want to experience these headlines again?
Governor J.B. Pritzker will serve another 4 years in office.
This was a resounding victory for Governor Pritzker.
The race was called just minutes after the polls closed.
Pritzker had a sizable advantage in Chicago and its suburbs.
I am the only candidate who can win the suburbs and end Pritzker's reign. It's why leading pro-lifers, American firsters, and conservative reformers support me. Republicans should always nominate the most conservative candidate who can win. That's me. I'm Ted Dabrowski, your conservative candidate for governor, and I'm asking for your vote in the Republican primary on March 17th. Paid for by Ted for Illinois.
A lot of people are getting their air conditioners tuned up and ready to go for the summer, and we're getting a lot of calls of people saying they want a second opinion, to have us come out and requesting us to come out there and take a look at their air conditioners. They've been told that they need a new one, and the repair is quite costly and might be best for them to replace the air conditioner and then repair it. If you're in that situation, please give me a call, because there is truly some opportunities here for you that we could save you lots of money, because I'm sure you're going to be shocked. We have the equipment that still works best for you with your budget. It's pretty much the best. It's what I would put in my home. It's what I would recommend. Give me a call. It's Bart Inman. One easy number, the easiest number in Missouri and Illinois. That is 314-293-2600. Or the online thing, and that is BartInman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
Does heart disease run in your family? Give yourself peace of mind with our cardiac MRI bundles at Specialty MRI. Personalized scans designed to give you clear, meaningful answers. No long waiting rooms. Scan today for a peace of mind tomorrow. Call us at 636-591-1288. That's 636-591-1288.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Annie Fry is St. Louis conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show, YouTube live chat poll for today. We want your text thoughts on this at 314-241-9797 and your votes at youtube.com/@AnnieFry. President Trump said the Iran war could end soon. Do you believe him? Yes, you trust Trump's assessment. No, it's going to drag on, or maybe it depends on Iran's behavior. We're going to shift gears here real quick and follow some breaking news that's taking place. Fox News reports right now that the federal and state authorities are responding to an active shooting at a Reform Jewish synagogue in West Bloomfield, Michigan. This is according to a Fox News report from Alexandra Cook. After a suspect allegedly rammed a vehicle into the house of worship and opened fire. The shooting, which unfolded at about 12:30 local time, that could be Eastern or Central, it's in Michigan, Thursday, took place at Temple, Israel. According to Michigan State Police, senior law enforcement tells Fox News the shooter is believed to be dead. FBI Director Kash Patel said his personnel are on the scene with partners in Michigan and are, quote, responding to the apparent vehicle ramming and active shooter situation at the Temple. Bloomfield Township Police confirmed Bloomfield Hill schools are in secure mode. The agency wrote in a statement, quote, this is out of precaution. There are no known threats to Bloomfield Hill School at this time. Neighboring agency, Ann Arbor Police Department, said its officers will also increase patrols and respond to local houses of worship and schools throughout the city as a precautionary measure. State police wrote in a statement, quote, we are asking for community members to stay away from the area to allow for police response. Troopers are also increasing patrols at other places of worship in the district. It doesn't seem as though they're reporting casualties or deaths at this point in time, but a vehicle has rammed into a synagogue building and opened fire. Fox News reports that the Michigan suspect is dead and the body is badly burned. The suspect was killed by armed security at the synagogue. Good for them for having armed security. So it appears as though the active shooter situation might be neutralized. Of course, that shooter being pronounced dead at the hands of local security after ramming his car into a building. If anything else develops from this, if there's any reports of casualties or deaths, we will bring that to you. So I guess, I mean, you know, you have, when we had Fred Fleitz on with us in the last segment, I was kind of watching this story a little bit on the news here, and I'm trying to put the pieces together. We're all trying to put the pieces together. Everybody's asking themselves, you know, okay, this is going on in Iran. We've opened the front door and the back door and the windows to let people flood into our country over the Biden years, and we don't know who's here. We've been working to deport them if they don't belong here. And now, as this is happening in Iran, the American, in partnership with Israel, actions in Iran, what's going to happen here? I guess the advice is to stay diligent, but you hate to see this happening at a synagogue, and I don't know that there would be any reason. There's the obvious inference of why this would happen at a synagogue, and we would be foolish not to assume so.
Yeah, it's you wonder if this is just one guy, if there was a plan here. I mean, right now you said that the suspect has been neutralized, so it sounds like it's one person.
Dead.
Yeah.
Yes. Apparently he was carrying a rifle with him.
trying to get into the synagogue, you assume? That's why you drive a car into the building?
I just think you're trying to do it's just terror.
Yeah.
I mean, you're trying to instill terror into people. So does that terrorize the people in the synagogue? Yes. Does that terrorize people in any synagogue anywhere in the United States? Yes. Does it terrorize people who don't go to synagogues, who go to churches or maybe grocery stores or wherever ridiculously delusional, violent people would want to take out some sort of action? The idea is to make us afraid.
It's sad to think that in our lifetime, I remember going to church, you didn't have armed guards having to stand at the front of the building, and now that's standard procedure everywhere.
It should be.
It should be. Maybe some little churches don't do it yet, or rural.
This is one of the things that kind of ties into the idea of this poll that we're asking today. The longer this war on Iran lasts, I think the sooner we button this thing up, the sooner we can get back to focusing on, not that we're not doing that right now, but policing the domestic areas of law enforcement and ensuring that we are safe and secure. But it says Fox News reports that the Michigan suspect had a rifle and got into a shootout with security, and it looks like security won. So hire yourself some good security at your place of worship. All right, let's break. You got some texts?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get some of your feedback on the poll today. Do you think that this is going to be over soon? You believe the president? You can text us at 314-241-9797. Text the Annie Fry Show text line. You can also comment. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the Annie Fry YouTube channel right after you vote. Silk says, I believe on YouTube, I believe and trust Trump at least more than the lifetime politicians which lie for a living. Ron says, I trust our president, but the Iranian government is a wild card. I mean, who is the Iranian government? We'll be right back.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. This is attorney Todd Nissenholt of Kaufman Townsley. Victim of a car accident? Not choosing the best lawyer will cost you. But here's the good news. Since you don't pay unless we win, you can afford the very best. Kaufman Townsley. Call 314-777-7777.
You can feel the Clydesdales circling the field. Hear the stands come alive. Smell the hot dogs, the popcorn, and cold beer in the air. See the crowd rise as the first pitch hits the glove. And just like that, a new season begins. The countdown is on until opening day, and tickets start at just $49. Don't miss St. Louis's favorite holiday. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/opening day.
This season, step up to the ultimate game day experience with Cardinals all-inclusive tickets. Enjoy a full buffet, complimentary bar, and unbeatable views inside Busch Stadium. It's great food with great company for every pitch, hit, and home run. Choose your experience in the Budweiser 703 Club, UMB Champions Club, Professional Red Jacket Club, and more. See the game like a VIP with all-inclusive tickets. On sale now at cardinals.com/tickets.
When it comes to lighting, Graybar goes beyond parts and products. We help contractors turn plans into smart designs, manage kitting and deliverables, and navigate local codes so you can stay on time and on budget. Smart, scalable, job site ready. That's not just lighting. That's like kicking your project into Graybar mode. Yep, Graybar does that.
Are you interested in seeing Jimmy Fallon for free at the factory on April 11th? Well, this is a great place to be because in about an hour, we're going to give you a chance to win tickets to see Jimmy Fallon on April 11th. Compliments of the factory, that is where the show will be. So stick around for, again, about an hour from now, we'll give you that chance. It is 1:32. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
But first, this morning I issued a correction first thing in the morning on X for a mistake that I made in last night's show, but I also wanted to do so on air as well. I incorrectly said that the bombs that were thrown by ISIS-inspired suspects in New York over the weekend were directed at Mayor Mamdani. They were not. I failed to catch and correct that mistake in real time, and I take full responsibility for that. And while we do make mistakes, it is important to acknowledge and correct those errors when they happen.
All right. That's Abby Phillips, who was talking about the New York City attack, bombing attack, and okay, credit where credit is due. Good for her for making that apology. I'm sure that was her idea.
Yeah, deep level of contrition.
Yeah, like, gosh, I really got that one wrong. I should write it and say it publicly.
All they said was write it. And she said, I need to do it on broadcast.
Does Abby Phillips ever make a mistake that gives Donald Trump too much credit?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
She's a Trump lover. Does Abby Phillips ever make a mistake that goes the direction of, like, a conservative spin?
All joking aside, no.
No.
Never.
Like, not a one time. That's amazing, right? That batting average is pretty amazing. So is it important that she comes out there and says that? I do. That's not something anybody ever wants to do. Here's what I don't know. Is her judgment so poor that she actually thought that the ISIS sympathizers or ISIS whatever members, whatever they are, did she actually think that they were there to, like, really stick it to Mamdani? Is her discernment so poor? Was she fed that line? Did she anchorman read something out of a teleprompter? Was she told? Was there a meeting? Was there an article that was handed to her that she could report on that was written by somebody who is a loony lefty? Because there's no part of that is common sense. You don't have to go out and report something that is slanted in the entire other way. But where are these people on the CNNs of the world, and especially on her show, and everybody knows her show. Why? Because Scott Jennings is on it.
That is the only reason.
Correct. I think people are sometimes surprised that it's not his show. He's so valuable to CNN, and he needs to stay right where he is because he would be one of many on a Fox News or like a Newsmax, I think would be beneath him at this point. I think he's one of so few on CNN. He shines like a star. And CNN needs that too because they get credit for having Scott Jennings on there. They don't really shut him up. Scott Jennings seems to have a lot of elbow room to be Scott Jennings at that round table. But the way Abby Phillips moderates that panel and the way it's, do lefties feel about Jessica Tarloff the way righties feel about Scott Jennings? I don't think so.
I don't either. That's a good question, though. I don't see her getting a lot of love from the left. And she should. That's her role. That's why she's there. She's there to be the Scott Jennings of Fox News, among other people. Because it's not just Fox News has several of those types of people. CNN has Scott Jennings.
And Fox also has Harold Ford Jr., who I mistakenly always think of as Harold Reynolds, but he is on MLB Network. And he's, I think he played for the Cincinnati Reds. Not the same guy.
Yeah.
Although they should throw him in there once to see what happens. He's a broadcaster. What do you think? CNN comes out and they say, "Oh, got that one wrong."
Well, did you see what CNN was reporting previously, even to Abby Phillips? The thing that they put out about the bombing was unbelievable.
I have it saved.
And I figured you did, which is why I brought it up.
I didn't get to it, but go on.
I've got it too if you want it, but it's on Tuesday, they published a story that read thus. This is about the bombers, okay?
You know why I haven't talked about this? It pisses me off so much.
It's unbelievable.
I'm like, the people don't want me to be angry, Annie. They want fun, playful, let Ryan Wiggins do his thing, Annie.
Well, now Ryan Wiggins is talking about this.
I let him do his thing.
Quote, 2 Pennsylvania teenagers crossed into New York City Saturday morning for what could have been a normal day, enjoying the city during abnormally warm weather. That's the way it starts.
When you go to the dictionary and it says burying the lead, which is spelled L-E-D-E, by the way, this is there. This is it.
Yeah. And you wouldn't even think that this was about the bombing. But the next paragraph is this. But in less than an hour, their lives would drastically change as the pair would be... I can't believe that I'm reading
Terrorism
this.
happened to them, but they were the terrorists. People, CNN, get your act together. See what you did?
Their lives would drastically change as the pair would be arrested for...
This is an entirely passive sentence.
This is
all
happening
happened
to
them.
Would be arrested for throwing homemade bombs during an anti-Muslim protest.
I like how they say homemade, as if that, lessens.
Right. These weren't professionally made by a nation.
By terrorists in New York City.
An anti-Muslim protest outside of Mayor Zohran Mamdani's home. So my guess is that Abby Phillips probably read this, because that's where you'd kind of mix it up right there. Here's what we know so far. So that's the let me just tease you to get you to click on the information, which includes almost no accurate information. I guess actually, let me say this differently.
It's not just not accurate.
It is technically accurate. That's what's amazing about it.
No, it's deceptive.
It's fully deceptive.
It's intentionally, manipulatively deceptive. So losers who don't use brain cells that they have, all 5 of them, rub them together and see what you can get, can discern what is happening and understand that there's an anti-Muslim protest taking place outside of Mamdani's house, and then people come and throw bombs at them.
Yes.
And it's like these two, I want to say the worst words. I'm not going to do it. But this is the problem that got us to this point, is this type of bullcrap reporting over and over and over in locked arm, as if it's like one big red rover of all of these losers in the left-leaning media who every time a story comes and tries to get through, like the bully on the playground, they're like, no, eat concrete, and they shove that real story down on the ground, and they just lock arms and keep going as if that's the way to protect what? Democracy? No. Whatever's on the other side, that's this freaking swamp. That's what they're protecting as the schoolyard bullies. They're not interested in journalism. They won't even peek over their shoulder to find out where the truth actually lies, which is where you get Chris Cuomo, our entire story yesterday, 1 year ago, going, wow, it's like they were gatekeeping this entire time, the power and strength of ivermectin, but I've asked the questions now, and I take it on a regular regimen. Like, I have asked the questions. Dude, you are too freaking late. You're too late to the gig here to be able to brag about asking questions. They don't ask questions. They lie and they manipulate and they deceive so they can set a narrative, which is not only not journalism, it's the opposite of journalism. And it's the manipulation of a public who has, for whatever godforsaken reason, put their trust into the CNNs of the world. I think it's because they need to feel a certain kind of way. And I think they travel a lot and spend a lot of time in airports. But they're intentionally deceiving the public. And I guess we are in a position right now where there's a consequence for it because we're actually getting apologies.
Well, yes, but this story is you can't sue them for libel for what they've said here. Because there's nothing that you could pin them down and say that's false. It's full deception. They're so good at it that they're able to spin it without saying anything technically wrong. I want to read it one more time because it's so bad that I couldn't get through it very cleanly. Here you go, just quickly.
Did they delete the tweet?
Yes.
They deleted it because I had it saved and I can't find it. And so I actually screenshot it on my phone. I just can't share that to
But imagine being a journalist or a writer for CNN.
I wish CNN would imagine being a journalist.
And seeing this story about two bombers and going, oh, here's what I'm going to write. 2 Pennsylvania teenagers crossed into New York City Saturday morning.
Like, you know what the teenager word there is supposed to make you feel like, oh, they're just kids.
Yeah, they don't know.
I don't give a rat's patoot if they're just kids. If they're throwing bombs at people, treat them as adults and lock them up for good.
Also, these guys got to be 19 3/4 because they look very, very much older.
Wasn't the snowball fight in New York City also from like people in their mid-20s?
Probably. I don't know.
I think I know that some of them were like 26 years old. And they're like, they're just kids having a snowball fight.
Kids.
You can still be on your parents' insurance. Thanks, Obama.
2 Pennsylvania teenagers crossed into New York City Saturday morning for what could have been a normal day, enjoying the city during abnormally warm weather. But in less than an hour, their lives would drastically change as the pair would be arrested for throwing homemade bombs during an anti-Muslim protest outside Mayor Zohran Mamdani's home.
The bad guy in this is the anti-Muslim protesters.
Mm-hmm.
And that they wrote the entire thing to be able to spike that ball at the end.
Or the law enforcement because they would be arrested. They were starting a nice normal day on an abnormally warm weather day in New York.
I hate the phrase, and people say it all the time. It bothers me because it's overused. I just don't like overused phrases as a whole, but you don't hate the media enough. Yes, correct. Here's an ABC News post from, let's see here, get that off that. From the last, it was posted yesterday at 12:39. ABC News on X breaking. The FBI has warned police departments in California that Iran wants to retaliate for American attacks by launching offensive drones against the West Coast, according to an alert reviewed by ABC News. Carolyn Levitt has retweeted that just 3 hours ago, reposted it, said this post and story should be immediately retracted by ABC News for providing false information to intentionally alarm the American people. They wrote this based on one email that was sent to local law enforcement in California about a single unverified tip. The email even states the tip was based on, quote, unverified intelligence. Yet ABC News left out this critical fact in their story. Why? To be clear, no such threat from Iran to our homeland exists, and it never did. The media is looking to manipulate the American people, not to inform the American people, and the media shows their ass every single time they do that. Who they work for, what purpose they serve. They are not just not serving you, they're actively working against you. And they treat you as though you are a pawn to be manipulated so that they can exact some sort of end here that benefits the media outlet. And they're willing to sacrifice you, their customer, on the altar of journalism. They don't use journalism. They use manipulation and coercion. They take one little slice of not even like facts or information. They just take whatever they can get because they already know what the story is. They just need something that they can use to kind of keep you down that road so that they'll be able to get away with it. The narrative is always Trump bad. They just need the next story. They already know the story they're going to write. They just need to have another day to write a new one. And they're doing it in a way that is actively working against the American people and potentially making people less safe.
And by the way, those two stories, that's not the Daily Beast. That's not HuffPost. That wasn't even MS Now. That was ABC and CNN.
Yeah, I guess you don't hate the media enough. Let's take a break. Back in a minute.
Mark Cox here. Join me for the annual Lincoln Trump Day dinner with the St. Charles County Republican Central Committee, March 20th at Old Hickory Golf Club. Enjoy dinner, great guests, and a gun raffle. Learn more at 971talk.com/events.
Triton Exteriors, St. Louis roofing, siding, and gutter systems. We'll take care of you and your home. We're #1 in the Ladue, Kirkwood, and Webster area. James Hardy certified. Visit Triton.stl.com to be connected with a James Hardy expert and receive a free estimate. Triton-stl.com or call 314-717-1159. That's 314-717-1159. Triton Exteriors, St. Louis #1 James Hardy specialists.
This is State Representative Charlie Meyer. Southern Illinois is a special place. The farms, the families, our way of life. That's what I'm fighting for in Springfield, standing with Trump, fighting for lower taxes, supporting our farms, and protecting life in our Second Amendments. My family has lived in Southern Illinois for 6 generations. I won't stop fighting for the place I love. I'm Charlie Meyer, and I'm honored to earn your vote on March 17th. Paid for by Citizens for Charlie Meyer.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw. When we meet our clients for the first time, they have built up a lifetime of savings. Their question is, what can we do with this money so we can live comfortably the rest of our lives? First, we develop a strategy to protect your nest egg from any market losses. Then we build your own personalized structured income plan that will generate you an income the rest of your life. We put you in control of your money.
You've earned it, and it's our job to make sure you enjoy it. Let our team show you how you can have the retirement of your dreams. Call us now at 314-993-9494 for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. You will also get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. We've been helping retirees and pre-retirees retire with confidence for 40 years. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Here's reason 17. In today's new world, many law firms have had money injected into their firms by Wall Street, private equity, and other lenders. This money usually comes in at very, very high interest rates. It's one of the reasons you see so many lawyers advertising. I'm John Morgan. This money is expensive and the interest compounds quickly. These law firms can have a huge need for cash just to pay that debt. Why does it matter to you? My fear is your case is settled early and for far less than it's worth, just to service the loan that has mafia-like rates. Our financial strength is your advantage. That plus our reputation makes our firm your firm. Visit forthepeople.com to see our results and verdicts. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
The Annie Fry Show is St. Louis conservative.
Gosh, Ethan's kind of getting a big head, you know? He's kind of strutting around the office these days.
He always had a big head.
Telling people to call him Fred.
That's just because Fred's out, though.
Yeah, he's Fred this week.
Yeah.
But he's killing it on the music.
I don't think he really does a great job in general.
I think he's doing it perfectly. Okay. I don't even want to listen to the show. I just want to listen to him DJ the show. We should do that one time when I'm out.
Just music?
Yeah,
and
but
just Ethan
but
DJing
he's
it?
got to talk like a 1990s DJ.
Hey! That's When It Snows. From Seal.
We've gone from Seal to Ray Charles. I love a day like that. And we had Wipeout in the first hour.
Kiss by a Rose is not called When It Snows. What am I thinking? But that's what Ethan would do. That's what I was
I'm going to be honest. When you said When It Snows, I didn't know what you were talking about. But now I do. Yeah, we got a sponsor for Ethan Sports and Local.
Unbelievable.
And he's just kind of floating on air out there.
He, the first thing he said when I walked out there was,
"Suck it."
See the email? So yes, I saw the stupid email. Get over it.
I think that now would be a great time for me to tell you that we're looking for a company to sponsor Wiggins America. Otherwise, he's going to throw a fit forever now.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. You guys are going to be really bearing the brunt of it.
I'm not joking either when I say that a hair loss company to support Wiggins America would be something you'd be into.
A company that reverses hair loss.
Correct.
I'm not interested in a company that does hair
that
loss.
causes it. like hair saloon.
A bunch of laser hair
Hair
removal
saloon for men?
companies
Nope,
hung
don't
up.
need them.
No.
We get them in here. We used to
No, I
partner
mean,
with
if
them.
you were talking about my bikini line, that's one thing. I'm talking about my
I
head.
have never. I can't. I'm going to vomit. Legit nauseous.
I don't understand why. These are things that I'm interested in. So if anybody listening is like, yeah, that's me, we do that.
Sugar water.
Also, anything related to sugar, I'm a fan of.
And Men in Black.
If you are the
Aliens.
representative of sun-kissed fruit gems and you happen to be driving through St. Louis
Don't
right
know
now,
what that is either. Is that the name of the band that sings When It Snows?
No, that's Seal.
Sunkissed Fruit Jam.
It's not
You're listening
Sunkissed-
to When It Snows by Sunkissed Fruit Jams or whatever
No,
you
it's
said.
not sun-kissed fruit jam.
That's the name of the segment. That's the name. That's the name of you as a DJ. Sunkissed Fruit.
No, I'm not. I might be fruit jam.
A little sweet, a little tangy.
Always on point. It's sun-kissed, wiki, fruit jam.
Spinning stacks of hot wax.
Now, that guy that texted us in the first hour that hates us, this is why he quit listening.
Oh, yeah. No, it's not. It's not. Just to quote him, he said it was January 6th. But he's listening now to text in that he stopped listening. So I don't really know how to interpret
I
that.
think our YouTube audience is trying to crowdsource a sponsorship for Wiggins America.
You know what's going to happen is
For
somebody...
Super Chats, for $2.99, you can sponsor... Wait, that's not real. Because that money goes to me.
Wait, no, don't say it's not real until we try it. Let's test it.
I'm not giving you my $2.99. I don't even get the whole $2.99.
But I think what's going to happen is somebody is hearing this right now from a candy company, and they're going to go, Ryan, man, I thought that'd be great. That's a good idea. I will sponsor Wiggins America from my candy company, and we're going to do Fun Dip. And
Let's
I'm like,
get Bissinger up in here.
Why Fun Dip? It's like the one candy I don't really like. That's what's going to happen. Is then they're going to be forcing me to endorse a candy that I don't actually love.
You're kind of a fun dip.
I'm a fruit jam.
No arguments here.
It's fruit gems, by the way.
No Abby Phillips retractions taking place now.
It's not fruit. It's not sun-kissed fruit jam. That's
What
like
kind
an
of vibes?
hour.
What kind of jams do you play on?
It's not a jam. It's
Fruit
not
jams.
jelly. It's not made with a sandwich. Sun-kissed fruit gems. Gems. They're little circles. They're like doubloons of wonderful happiness. You put them in your mouth. You chew them up.
For a simple mind.
It's a beautiful mind.
Gems of happiness.
They made a movie about it.
Okay, Russell Crowe.
It's called Beautiful Mind.
Anywho.
So, this is the kind of content that you're sponsoring.
Sell advertising on the side of Ethan's enormous dome? Does he have a big head?
Oh, he does now.
Just figuratively.
We can measure it when he comes in.
I think the reason Ethan has all that beautiful flowing ginger hair is just to tick you off.
Oh, no doubt about it. Because when I see it, I do get angry.
When you watch on the YouTube channel, you'll notice right before Ethan Sports and Local, this is kind of why I think it got sponsored. He sits down in the chair and he takes his hat off in slow motion. It's not actually in slow motion. He just tries to make it in slow motion. And he shakes his head from side to
Shakes it
side.
out.
And all of that hair, he just does it because he's sitting next to Ryan. And Ryan gets mad, jealous, and a little
Absolutely
turned
do.
on every day.
No, I don't do that, but I do get mad. And here's the thing. I actually really like Ethan. If he had a shaved head, I think we'd be best friends.
Yeah, we can all tell. We can all tell real good. Ethan Sports and Local at 2:18. Back in a minute. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com is the website. You've got a leaky basement. You've got a Matt Hayes solution. At the other end of 314-271-9900. That's the number to call for any sort of foundation repair concerns that you might have. Matt Hayes is the guy to help you get to the place where you don't have to worry about it anymore. You can trust Matt Hayes. Many in St. Louis on both sides of the river have and do. So if you want to have him come look at your basement concern that you have, if you've got moisture, water in your basement, you do need to get that problem solved before it is an immediate issue of concern. Like I said, call 314-271-9900. That's 314-271-9900. There are a lot of foundation repair services that they offer, but I want to talk to you specifically. We've watched this rain come in, and it comes fast and furious. It comes down hard, and then it makes its way into your basement. That is a huge problem. Get it fixed by somebody who knows what they're doing, has the record to back it up, and is local. I think that's pretty great. 314-271-9900, HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
This is a Fox News alert. A synagogue attack in Michigan. I'm Lisa Brady. It happened at Temple Israel in the Detroit suburb of West Bloomfield Township.
At least one individual came to the temple. Security saw him, engaged him in gunfire.
Oakland County Sheriff Michael Bouchard after what started as a car ramming, the suspect's vehicle catching fire after crashing into the synagogue. They're not confirming yet if the suspect fired any shots or exactly what killed him.
We can't get into a lot of that stuff, but he breached the building, drove down the hall, and he was engaged by security.
They're also investigating the cause of the fire and checking the vehicle for possible explosive devices. A security guard was hit by the car and injured, but all of the children and staff who were there in an early learning center are okay.
The Temple Israel says a family reunification center has been set up for parents to pick up their children as other area organizations remain on lockout protocols.
Fox's Jeff Manasso, a shelter-in-place order also still in effect around the area. Earlier today, a shooting at Old Dominion University in Virginia. 2 people critically injured before that gunman was killed in a business school building. No confirmation yet of how that shooter died or any word on a possible motive. Iran state media releasing the first statement said to be from the new supreme leader, not read by him, vowing revenge for U.S. and Israeli attacks and saying they'll keep the Strait of Hormuz effectively closed until fighting ends.
Yesterday, the president announced plans to release 172 million barrels of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to bring down prices after the International Energy Agency's 32 member countries approved a release of 400 million barrels from global reserves to stabilize supply.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. Still, oil prices spiking back over $100 a barrel earlier. America is listening to Fox News.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZzzQuil Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZzzQuil Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZzzQuil Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolade spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Glad to be with you this afternoon. So there's news off of Capitol Hill here. Fox News reports by Alex Miller. Senate Republicans are accusing Senate Democrats of trying to rip apart the DHS piece by piece. The Department of Homeland Security, who needs that these days? Nothing going on, of course. After again blocking a bid to reopen the agency. Little has changed in the stalemate over the last 27 days of the partial shutdown, and communication breakdowns are dominating what could be opportunities for negotiation. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer of New York and his caucus are still demanding stringent reforms to immigration and customs enforcement, while Senate Republicans are dug in against their top demands. Throughout the day, Senate Democrats tried to offer individual bills to fund pieces and parts of DHS. A fired-up Senate Majority Whip, John Barrasso, accused Senate Democrats of trying to rip the agency apart at a moment it was designed for, as the war in Iran has spurred threats of retaliation in the U.S. by sleeper cells. Barrasso said, and that's at a time when our homeland is under attack. All warning lights are flashing red, and they want to peel apart piece by piece the Department of Homeland Security, the comprehensive department of our government, to protect the American people because they want to stand with illegal immigrant criminals. It's not lost on me that when was ICE formed? After September 11th. Because we had people in our country training in our country to kill Americans in our country. So they created ICE, or the Department of Homeland Security, I should say, in a way that was supposed to protect us at home. I could see how the left would be like, oh, President Trump started this war to push us to fund DHS or to try to, put the Democrats in a tight spot where they'd have to go through the funding process. TSA is day by day by day. I think tomorrow is the second paycheck that they're going to miss, the first one that they're going to miss in full. And so you do have people who are still coming to work. They'll get paid for the time that they worked whenever they decide to reopen the government. The Democrats kept the last one closed for quite some time. The shutdown lasted it was a record-breaking shutdown. But ICE is funded in the big, beautiful bill for, I think, 5 years. So arguing over the funding of DHS, I sent a text message to one of my congressman friends and was waiting. I haven't heard back from him yet. But Kankakee, Illinois, ravaged by a tornado. Hail this bigger than the size of a grown person's hand. FEMA is right now affected by the government shutdown. Is Kankakee going to be delayed in their ability to get assistance because FEMA isn't funded? I want to know. TSA is working at a bare bones capacity because they're not funded right now, because the Democrats have shut down the government, this portion of the government over it. Somebody going to get through? Somebody going to do something terrible and get through because TSA wasn't operating at full capacity? I mean, that's the scary part of it. The lines that we're seeing, especially on the weekend, spring break is coming up. A lot of people sending their kids on trips, college kids, young adults, whatever, going on spring break trips right now, waiting in security in lines that are hours and hours long. That's an inconvenience. It's a terrible inconvenience. It shouldn't have to happen, but that's not the worst thing that could happen. The capacity for something really terrible to happen because the Democrats have picked this moment to, to stomp their foot, put their head in the sand, and say we will take this and only this, and we're not going to negotiate on anything. I'm wondering in my mind the modifications that they want to see made to ICE. One of the initial demands that they had was that they wanted ICE agents to wear cameras. And then President Trump and the Republicans were like, great idea, let's do it. I almost feel like maybe if the Democrats were going to be this ridiculous, then maybe the Republicans shouldn't give in. If they knew they were going to give in to the cameras, maybe they should have waited and made the Democrats feel like they really earned it. But they conceded right away. Yeah, cameras, let's do that. The Democrats are not, they're the politics of the moment, the will of the American people is not behind what the Democrats are doing right now. And, a government shutdown doesn't mean anything to anyone until it actually affects you. People start traveling, it's going to affect you. But good grief, the stakes are pretty freaking high right now. If you are looking at what's going on right now in Michigan, West Bloomfield Township, Michigan, a suspect rams into a synagogue. I guess the car went ablaze. He got in a shootout with the local security there. Security one. He was badly burned. He's dead, but he opened fire. We don't have any reports yet of casualties or death outside of the suspect, to my knowledge. It's not something that is being reported on Fox News or in the places that I've been looking in the commercial breaks. But the stakes are really, really high. If the Democrats feel like this is the moment, look at what the Democrats are willing to shut the government down over, and the Republicans in the Senate can't even take an 80-20 issue and bring the Senate to a screeching halt until the Democrats are incapable of pushing the filibuster to the extent where they're going to be able to stop the Save America Act from passing. Now, I'm sitting here criticizing the Democrats' resolve on a particular issue, but the issue I'm criticizing is one that's not popular with the American people. The Save America Act is very popular with the American people. And we're just sitting twiddling our thumbs waiting for the Republicans to, I guess, work up the effort and the initiative to push the issue enough so that it actually gets litigated, if you will, in the Senate. I don't know, talking to Hans von Spakovsky in the 12 o'clock hour, I played for him that clip. Chad Program has been very hesitant to say filibuster, let's go, let's see it. He's made it seem as though it's a bit more of a challenge than maybe the Mike Lees on X are suggesting that it might be, or Scott Pressler or whatever, all people who I think are incredible patriots working for the betterment of this country and election integrity. But I feel like Hans kind of softened the Chad Pergram blow a little bit, seeing it a little bit differently. And I don't know why the Republicans are doing this. Everyone's demanding it.
Everyone's demanding it. I would love to criticize Republicans because Republicans have got to get their act together to start passing legislation. The filibuster is the big question. But right now, Democrats are doing nothing. I mean, their entire agenda right now is just do nothing, accomplish nothing, resist everything, simply because they think their side's going to turn out more in November if they do that. And so it's got to be Democrat voters deciding we want, you as a Democrat voter, you can look at a popular issue, whether it be SAVE Act or anything else, just any 80-20 issue that you say, yeah, you know what, I don't always align with Republicans, but I do align with them on this one. Maybe it's boys and girls sports or something like that. You have got to hold your politicians accountable as a Democrat voter and say, please get on board with this. I'm a Democrat. I support you. Please vote for this. Otherwise, they'll never do anything. And that's what they're doing now.
If Murkowski has come out actively against the Save America Act, that's not a surprise. Collins is probably not. for it, but she seems to be like somebody who can, at the end of the day, be persuaded to cross over. I think Brett Kavanaugh was the final yes on Brett Kavanaugh. Is either that or Amy Coney Barrett, maybe both. But like Mitch McConnell, I don't think that he's making any of his own decisions. When you see,
you gotta wonder.
When you see Mitch McConnell in public, I did see that he spoke on the floor here recently, and I don't remember what it was specifically, but I was just shocked that he was standing and speaking. Now, if he were to resign from the Senate, I believe that the governor of Kentucky appoints his replacement until the next election, and the governor, Andy Beshear, is a Democrat. Is he going to appoint a Republican? No. Probably not.
No.
Not a Republican that we would want to be there. It might have to be approved. He might appoint, and it might have to be approved by the legislature.
Oh, that would be an interesting case then.
Yeah, I'll look it up. Let's take a quick break here. We got to make room for a sponsored segment. You know, you got to respect the people who are doing the work.
You talking about Ethan?
Yeah, of course I'm talking about Ethan.
I don't no.
Sports and
You
local.
don't have to do that.
We got an exciting sports and local coming up. That's assuming he talks about the things that I hope he does. But it is his segment, and Ethan does what he wants, and that's what we like about him. Stick around, Ethan Sports and Local next. Don't go away.
Night of live rock you gotta see. Foghat and Nazareth. With special guest The Babies. Saturday, May 2nd at the Family Arena. Foghat. Nazareth. Get tickets now at the Carroll House Furniture box office or Ticketmaster. Don't miss Nazareth and Foghat live. Sawyer Brown.
Some girls don't like boys like me. Oh, but some girls do.
And Lone Star.
Every little thing that you do, baby, I'm a
Live this Saturday night at 7, the Family Arena. Get tickets now at the Carroll House Furniture box office located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster. Don't miss Sawyer Brown and Lone Star together live.
Software engineer-manager for Equifax Incorporated in St. Louis, Missouri, to lead an engineering team focused on building and delivering scalable applications and services in the data and analytics space. Requires master's degree in computer science, information technology, engineering, or related field. Willing to accept foreign education equivalent, plus 5 years of experience as a software engineer or related occupation in software development, or alternatively, a bachelor's degree in computer science, information technology, engineering, or related field. Willing to accept foreign education equivalent, plus 7 years of experience as a software engineer or related occupation in software development. Email resume to jobs.opportunities@equifax.com. Reference position number 501006. Software engineer-manager for Equifax Incorporated in St. Louis, Missouri. Requires master's degree in computer science, information technology, engineering, or related field. Willing to accept foreign education equivalent, plus 5 years of experience. Email resume to jobs.opportunities@equifax.com. Reference position number 501006.
This is State Representative Charlie Meyer. Southern Illinois is a special place. The farms, the families, our way of life. That's what I'm fighting for in Springfield, standing with Trump, fighting for lower taxes, supporting our farms, and protecting life in our Second Amendments. My family has lived in Southern Illinois for 6 generations. I won't stop fighting for the place I love. I'm Charlie Meyer, and I'm honored to earn your vote on March 17th. Paid for by Citizens for Charlie Meyer.
At Gray Bar, we know your time is money. That's why our services go beyond parts and products. With kitting, pre-assembly, wire carts, and Gray Bar smart reels that keep you moving. We stage materials and manage logistics so you can spend less time sorting and more time installing. And with locations nationwide, we deliver when and where you need it, working to make your job easier every step of the way. Yep, Gray Bar does that.
I'm Ted Dabrowski. I'm running for governor to breathe new life into our party and improve the quality of life in our state. Let's be honest about how we defeat Pritzker. Victory runs through the suburbs, and Darren Bailey is a disaster in the suburbs. To renominate him is to concede defeat. It's why Pritzker wanted to run against him 4 years ago and wants to again. Do you really want to experience these headlines again?
Governor J.B. Pritzker will serve another 4 years in office.
This was a resounding victory for Governor Pritzker.
The race was called just minutes after the polls closed.
Pritzker had a sizable advantage in Chicago and its suburbs.
I am the only candidate who can win the suburbs and end Pritzker's reign. It's why leading pro-lifers, American firsters, and conservative reformers support me. Republicans should always nominate the most conservative candidate who can win. That's me. I'm Ted Dabrowski, your conservative candidate for governor, and I'm asking for your vote in the Republican primary on March 17th. Paid for by Ted for Illinois.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
When's the last time you gave your home's exterior a little love? Hi, it's Kim, and if your siding is cracking, it's fading, or just doesn't stand up to our St. Louis weather, it's time to call Lakeside Renovation and Design because they're experts in James Hardie siding, which is this durable, low-maintenance option, and it looks beautiful. Plus, you have customizable colors and textures, and so you can give your home a completely new look while protecting it for decades. Don't wait until the small problems turn into big ones. Visit lakesidearty.com to schedule your free consultation.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Hold up! Check it out. Sports and local.
And now, Ethan reads the news in a different language.
Okay,
Bonjour.
Now. All right, Mr. Fancy.
Doing it in Italian.
Go
ahead. Yeah, we're important over here on the Annie Fry Show. We do big things.
And by we,
specifically in sports and local, none of you guys are important or big or anything. It's
Ethan.
just me. Because Ethan Sports and Local is sponsored by All Financial. Cha-ching.
Slow clap.
Slow clap indeed. How we doing, guys?
Super. How
Everyone
are you?
Good. I'm peachy. And so is...
you know you still have to do the segment, right?
Well, that's why I was going into it. I was getting into it. So is Governor Mike Kehoe, who just signed a supplemental budget bill totaling more than $3.1 billion. Hit that bell again. To fund state operations through the remainder of the 2026 fiscal year.
Yeah, 3 billion more times.
Are we hitting the bell every billion?
Well, she said 3 billion more times.
Yeah.
So one for every dollar.
Are we happy about this?
For the rest of the segment.
That's all you're going to do.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Just turn your mic off. The Missouri General Assembly passed the legislation, House Bill 2014 last week. The bill is considered an important step for the financial operations of state government. Kehoe says it provides funding for high-priority areas, including public safety, disaster relief, and social services to ensure state programs continue to function. Yeah, the budget includes nearly $517 million in general revenue, approximately $2 billion in federal funds, and more than $670 million in other sources. It also allocates $86 million specifically for tornado disaster relief here in St. Louis. $86 million. What are your thoughts, Ryan?
The bell is broken. I'm trying to hit it. I really
You're not
am.
doing a real good job with
It's
it, are
broken.
you? Having a hard time over there?
Yeah.
Performance issues?
He's just taking notes on your professionalism.
Now he has two bells.
What's the other bell?
He has another bell. Alrighty, I got some news on everyone's favorite county executive, Sam Page, who outlined today possibly consolidating city and county services. Page pitched the plan as a way to address ongoing budget challenges.
This is the merger story?
Facing the county.
Is this like better together, or is this a different style? Same kind of thing?
You'll have to just wait and see. This comes after the St. Louis County Council passed a budget in December that included $48 million in cuts to the original plan submitted by Page. He described the initiative as a call to action aiming to begin community-wide conversation regarding the potential merger of functions. The concept is similar to other merger ideas being between the city and county that have been talked about in the past but never materialized.
I'm going to do a poll of our audience that wants to know how much you care about a city-county merger. because it's about to be 100% of the coverage on St. Louis conservative talk radio. And it doesn't affect me. Like, personally, actually, it might affect me because I work here. I pay taxes in the city. But, man, there's a lot of coverage of it. And my understanding is that most of our people are not in favor of it.
In other Sam Page news, the trial for Page will no longer be held on March 23rd after a judge agreed to a delay during a court appearance this past Monday. Prosecutors allege Page used taxpayer funds to pay for election mailers used in a campaign to defeat Proposition B last April. He was indicted by a grand jury in July on 2 felonies and 2 misdemeanors.
I am actually very interested in that merger. It does not affect me directly as an Illinois resident.
What do you want to know about it?
But I am interested to see how are there benefits to doing it? Are there huge drawbacks? I'm here for the debate.
Yeah?
Yeah, I really am. I kind of like that stuff.
You like paying $1,000 in city taxes every year?
I do not. If they could reduce that by any amount.
I'm sure that the Democrat-led merger will help lower taxes.
Well, I just wonder if you're consolidating services, because they'll have to pitch it to people as a good idea, and it'll have to be a fiscal good idea. But I don't know.
I don't know if that's how we got here.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe voters in the city and county.
We'll have Mark Cox on to tell us what's going on, because I know he's very opposed to it, or has been in the past. Maybe there's something different about this one that changed his mind.
Page appeared in court Monday where the George approved the delay.
You're a sponsor now. You got to get this together.
No, it's pretty embarrassing. What was that?
Both of the bells are broken. I'm just telling you right now.
Okay.
That bell kind of sounded like Ethan trying to say that word.
Oh, tell the difference between the two. According to a spokesperson for Page, the court agreed to a continuance that was requested by both the prosecution and the defense. The case conference for Page is now scheduled on June 12th. In breaking sports and local.
Hey, that one worked.
The Mizzou Tigers have been knocked out of the SEC tournament in the second round of play.
Oh.
They lost to the Kentucky Wildcats by a final score of 78-72. They were down at one point in this game by 13. Made a great comeback late in the second half, all to let it slip away once again. Mark Mitchell had 32 points and 7 rebounds. So that's 3 straight losses for Mizzou. Prior to that, there had been a lot of the bracketologist experts that were saying they're pretty close to being a lock, if not a lock, for the tournament. But 3 straight losses and a quick exit from the SEC tournament, that could change things.
Doesn't bode well.
No.
I was having this debate with my dad last night, so I'm not going to say any particular players or teams, but I would like to know, is this now in NCAA basketball the time, because of all the rule changes, when guys start auditioning to play on
Broadway.
other teams for Broadway? Ignore Annie.
I was
Hello,
like, you
my
lost
baby.
me.
Hello, my
Putting on the ribs. That guy's not hired for sure. He's tall, though.
Can't miss him.
So what were you actually wanting to know?
Are you talking about the transfer portal?
Yes.
That's the easy way to let me.
Are guys
let me give you the
auditioning
closed
right now?
caption, Ethan. Are people looking transfer portal right now?
I think that teams are looking at the transfer portal all year long. I don't think that because the attention is bigger right now on the sport in general, that all of a sudden college basketball coaches are looking closer.
That's not my question. My question is, are players right now realizing, the fate of this team isn't what I thought it was going to be? So
I don't think
now,
the fate of the team matters on what they want to do next. It's the money that talks.
Now they're going, maybe I could jump a little bit higher here if the team that I chose this year didn't get there.
You got to do that before your team sucks.
Well, there certainly are teams. There certainly are for talented players that are on smaller school teams. Yeah, I would say that that's happening a little bit. But like Andy said, it's the money more than it is anything else.
But that's what I'm saying, is that they're looking to say, maybe my value would be higher if I did something different now versus, hey, at the beginning of the season, I'm all in.
Yeah, no, I would say maybe maybe the purpose behind what you're playing, now I'm playing for
me.
Yeah, you could say that, but then again, if you're a smaller school and you're making the NCAA tournament, then at that point you probably are still relatively bought in on what your team's doing to the point that you got that far, and who knows what can happen with Cinderella teams.
Ethan, are you going to talk about the World Baseball Classic?
Would you like me to, Annie?
I do, but I want to. Only for the sake of reading this tweet, and then you can say whatever you want about it. Can I read you a tweet?
You can read me whatever you want.
Ethan and I were talking last night back and forth as the.
This is the tweet. You're reading the tweet right now?
I'm going to.
Oh, okay. I thought the tweet was Ethan and I were talking.
No.
Did you tweet this, Annie?
No, it's not. I'm not reading my tweet.
Okay, all right.
But you and I were going back and forth with each run that Italy scored to an extent, and then we're like, okay, that's enough, and then we went on with our days.
Yeah, they got to 4. It was like, all right, well, we're good.
I'm going to give him credit. MJ Priest 1304 tweeted last night. This is yesterday morning, so this is before Italy walloped Mexico last night to give the United States new life in the World Baseball Classic. He said, USA Baseball needed the travel ball dad. He knows all the scenarios, has mapped them out extensively, and told everyone who will listen and those who will ignore him. He may be annoying, but he knows the tiebreaker rules, scenarios, win or lose, and who and when they will play next in every scenario possible. He would have told DeRosa and every manager, travel ball dads for the win.
Yeah.
Do you know those travel dads?
Yeah, I know
dads?
what you're talking about. Here's the problem. He did. He had that, and he had probably 12 of them. They're called assistant coaches.
Yeah, but there's just this little extra flair that comes with 10-year-old
but
travel baseball.
Why? You know why? It's because the travel ball dad is wearing a pair of athletic Nike shorts with the pullover, with the quarter zip pullover. And
Oakleys.
And that's the Oakleys, yep. They're usually backwards on the hat, the baseball cap.
So you know he means business.
This is a heavier set guy. He's not fat, but he's not skinny. And he's got a little facial hair, too. Just a little bit. A very specific picture in mind
100%.
of my travel ball dad.
He's like 5'10".
Hey, Mark. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Shots
kidding.
fired
That was a
at
joke.
Mark.
That was a joke. I know no Mark.
There
no
are
travel
about
ball dads named Mark.
47 Marks
They're like,
out there
whoa.
right now that are like, he's calling me out.
Hey, wait a minute. Not cool.
Did you
I
guys
don't
have
wear mine backwards.
Ryan, are you travel ball dad?
I'm not. Well, I am, but I'm not that guy.
Don't you? I as a volleyball coach, I've been Paul's assistant coach all up until this last year. He was like, why don't you take the head thing? He kind of had a job situation that made it harder for him to get to practice. He's like, I'll help you, and so I was the head coach. But Paul is that guy leaning into who's like studied the tiebreakers. You're in a pool play game or tournament or whatever, and people ask me like, okay, when do we play? I'm like, I have no idea. Like somebody will tell us when we play next, and then we'll just play that game. But
that you know who that dad is, though.
Well, I don't feel any obligation to figure it out because the worst thing that could happen is I figure it out and Paul and I come up with different thoughts.
Right.
And then we got to compare notes, and I'm like, well, Paul's going to be right. I might as well just go with Paul.
Yeah,
he knows what he's doing.
But you always know who that guy is on your team.
Yes.
Because you just go to him and go, what's the scenario?
And if you have 2 or 3, then you have a travel ball dad committee, and you let them work it out.
I feel like Ryan's the dad at athletic events that like has the little cowbell. Woo, go son.
The loud cup, like Brad gave us for Christmas.
I'm not that guy. I only get annoying when it gets real close.
And what is annoying in your eyes?
I will yell things out like in
than our eyes.
encouragement.
Don't tackle my son!
I don't know about. I didn't even know what you said.
Are you more likely, Ryan, to yell at your kid or the officials?
My kid.
Question. Really?
Yeah, I don't yell at the officials.
You tackle the officials.
Better not.
Yeah, we'll have some. We'll have physical
Some
altercations.
knockdown dragouts.
Are you going to be a chill travel ball dad, Ethan?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. Yes.
Mark
I
the
can't
tape.
stand toxic youth sports parents. I cannot stand them.
Pause.
Massive
Ryan,
disdain.
will he be a chill travel ball dad?
Based on that, no. He's already crossed the Rubicon. He didn't even have kids yet.
Yeah, you're pretty hostile about
I
that.
said I don't like them.
immediately. Yeah, but you look like you wanted to throw down.
Yeah, you're ready to go now. Wait till your kid gets into a game.
You don't.
You're gonna be hot.
People who think that they're going to be a certain way when their kid starts playing sports, you might end up being a version of that. But until your kid's out there, the most stress I ever had watching my kid play was upward basketball because it was the first competitive thing he did, and I was like to Jared, I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I wanted to coach him, I wanted to help him. He had played baseball before. I don't need need to be telling him how to do baseball things. I know the game, but I'm not coaching him. Basketball is what I played. I could help him. There were things he needed to know, and it turns out he needed none of that from me, which it took me 2 full games to like just all I did the whole time was try to sit there and just clap. Like, don't even say a thing. Don't even remind your kid when they're on the court that you're sitting in the stands. That was really, really hard because you think it's like an outward expression of your love for your kid. And you don't realize how much you have to establish boundaries on your emotion in those moments. It's really hard. I'm coming to your kid's first game, Ethan.
Tried to get to the point that I do not say that kind of like any instruction during the game. I can't say I'm 100% at it, but I've tried to get there. Because it just kind of disrupts things.
Chris on YouTube says, are travel ball parents bad? I know hockey parents are on their own level. It's not that they're bad.
Hockey parents are horrible.
Well, okay. See, you're going to be so fun to watch.
Can't stand them.
Try to get
I almost got in a little bit of a tilt with one this winter.
You don't even have a kid in the sport.
You don't even like hockey.
I was broadcasting. I was setting up for a broadcast, a high school hockey broadcast. In this DAT, I'm like, hey, we have to set up here. It's the only spot with an outlet. And he's like, well, you could set up once the game, the previous game. And he started getting in my face. And I was like, listen, there's a whole row of seats.
Did you throw them into the boards?
I'm just asking you to scooch 2 feet down. I got pretty hot about it.
G. Willikers comments on YouTube, my niece asked my sister to get her on a different softball team because some of the parents were horrible. Culture is everything. But, I mean, like, the travel ball parents, are they bad? No. Some humans are bad, but the travel ball families, if you're in that, or it doesn't even have to be like travel. When your youth sports families, when you connect with good ones, they're going to end up potentially being lifelong friends for your kids, for your family. It could be real good.
There's definitely lines to it.
I want to revisit this in 10 years, Ethan.
All right.
See how it shakes out.
I probably won't even be at my first kid's first game.
You get thrown out of it.
Too busy with work.
You'd be broadcasting.
Be able to attend.
Ethan.
And you can go on behalf of me.
I could go be a lunatic on your behalf.
Your dad said, good job.
Your dad said, why aren't you working harder? Back in a minute.
Said, just quit now.
You know your customers. Ralph likes his coffee black on Fridays, but Mondays he takes a little cream. Jennifer comes in every 3 years when her lease is up to get the newer and better model. And for some reason, pepperoni pizza sells like crazy on Friday nights. Who knew? At Odyssey, we have the expertise to get your media plan done right. With ads like you're hearing right now, to targeted social media campaigns, search engine optimization, and location-based advertising. Advertise with Odyssey and help us grow your business. Visit ads.odyssey.com.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings, up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
All right, now is the time if you want to see Jimmy Fallon on April 11th to call, and you can maybe win a pair of tickets if you are the 8th caller, 314-241-9797. Be the 8th caller. You will win a pair of tickets to see Jimmy Fallon at the Factory on April 11th, 314-241-9797. It is 2:37. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com.
From Troy, Missouri to Troy, Illinois. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
You guys big St. Patrick's Day fans?
I like corned beef and hash.
Yeah. What is hash potatoes?
It's potatoes.
What kind of potatoes?
What I've had is they're usually little bitty cubed, almost.
Do you know
hash
potatoes?
Brown type potatoes. That's what I've had. I don't know that that's the standard, but that's what I like. I don't like corned beef and cabbage though.
Corned beef was one of the main reasons I only worked in a deli for like 2 months.
What, you hated it?
Oh.
The smell bad?
Ugh. And roast beef was the worst.
Ooh, actually, you know what? You're right. I didn't think about that.
When you're working in a deli and people come and they're like, oh, thinly shaved.
Yeah.
You got to take the big chunk of meat that looks like you ripped it right off of wherever corned beef comes from.
Right.
And you put it
Cow's
up there.
belly. I didn't actually know.
And then you got to slice it over and over and over
Thin,
again.
Very thinly. It smells bad? The roast beef does?
And corned beef?
Well, I know corned beef does.
Oh, so gross. It's so gross. And the bags that the big chunks of meat come in have juice in them.
Yeah, they do.
Oh. You got to like bloodlet the thing. It's not blood in it, but it's got like juice, meat juice. Yeah, it didn't last long.
Couldn't do it.
You do know I've told the story before, but I am banned from the Meat Cutters Union.
Oh, it's been a while, though, because I don't remember the story. I remember the headline.
I worked in the Schnucks Deli, and it paid well until the union stepped in. It paid well, like, if you were going to work in a grocery store. I think I was whatever year that Joe Buck died and Daryl Kyle. Didn't they die in the same year?
Buck?
Jack Buck. Sorry, Joe.
Joe's doing fine.
Joe's good.
I think it was 2000?
No, it would have been like
or 2001.
2 or 3, because I was out of high school, I think.
Hang on.
It would have been after September 11th, which was in
I think it was
2001.
02. I think it was summer of 2002. I think it was the summer after I graduated high school, and I graduated in 02. So I was there for like 2 months. But it paid well, considering I think I made in the $7 or $8 an hour, something and change. Whereas minimum wage at that time was like maybe $5.15 or something. And working in the deli and realizing, as somebody, as you guys all know, that I am pretty picky about the meat that I will eat, that it turned out that that was not really my path.
You didn't know that yet, though.
I should have. I had my high school diploma in hand. You'd think that'd be entry-level kind of common sense.
But all the deli meat is boneless. So you should be fine with that.
It's so large.
It is a big hunk.
Like chunk.
Chunk.
That's a terrible word.
A chunk of turkey.
Oh.
A moist piece of Jenny O's.
Moist doesn't bother me. Chunk bothers me. Yeah, but I worked there for 2 months, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't handle it. And so I quit. I had gotten another job. I think I had other jobs, too, at the same time. And so I quit. And then the meat cutters union is like, you got to keep paying your dues if you want to stay a part of this union. I think I'm good. I don't know that my future is in meat cutting. In fact, I know one thing, that my future is not in meat cutting. So I was like 18. I was like, I'm going to ignore that. But I was still part of the union, but I quit paying dues because if you want to maintain your union membership, even though you don't have a job, you got to keep paying the dues. And so I didn't. And then I got a really nasty letter from them that said, you're banned. I should have.
Really?
Yeah, I was embarrassed by it at the time because I'm a rule follower, and I thought, well, this seems aggressively hostile to me, and I felt bad for it, so I think I threw it away like real fast. I wish I would have framed it. I would love to have that.
Plus, you're only 18.
Yes.
So yeah, I could see why you'd feel that way.
Yeah, like I learned my lesson. You don't want me. I'm not good for you.
You know what? I think they would have taken your money. I think that was probably the whole point.
That was the only point. Yeah. So no Meat Cutters Union for me anymore.
I got really embarrassed once. My favorite band, this is much later. I should not have been this embarrassed, except that I was. I emailed the bassist of one of the bands that I love. They're called Supergrass.
Mm-hmm.
They sing All Right is where their big hit. And I emailed them when they broke up. I emailed the bassist, and I was like, hey, man, the other two are still on board. You need to get with the program and get back with those guys because you guys make great music, and I love you, and I want to hear more Supergrass music. And I thought, this is going into nowhere. This is going into the spam folder. This guy emails me back the most scathing, angry email at me saying that he's the problem, essentially.
What did he say?
I don't remember because I was, again, so embarrassed that I just immediately deleted it. And I've regretted it ever since. Yeah. I really wish I had that email.
Well, corned beef. There's a St. Patrick's Day parade this weekend, and it's in Defiance, Missouri this Saturday. The parade is at noon. It's one of the largest parades that's in the area, 15 minutes from Chesterfield or Lake St. Louis. If you're going to go, I'm getting told by one of the people who's involved in helping promote it, you need to get there prior to 11 a.m. just to make sure you get a good spot. Live music, drink specials throughout Defiance all that day. Go check it out. St. Patrick's Day parades? What's your favorite kind of parade? Holiday parade.
Holiday parade? Christmas. I love the Christmas light-up parades. Have you ever been to one of those?
No, Collinsville has one, right?
Collinsville has one. I think maybe Edwardsville. No, I can't remember. I know Collinsville does.
Has one.
O'Fallon does. That's the other one. And they're really cool.
Alton and Edwardsville do Halloween parades. We do the Veterans Day parade. I'm gonna go ahead and say that's my favorite. I love the Veterans Day parade. I love that Edwardsville moved theirs to 3 p.m. as well, so it's during the day. But I love seeing the streets lined with veterans, and it always feels weird. And I kind of expressed this beforehand, but
you always say the same thing. I know what you're going to say.
I hate being in a parade where it's not about me. It's just like an opportunity for me to thank as many veterans as I possibly can on the route. So I'm like trying. I don't want to miss one. And they're veterans. That's I think the thing that touches me the most about this, and it's kind of apropos of what we're dealing with right now as we're waging war in Iran, that I think it's easy to think of Veterans Day or just veterans as World War II people, maybe Vietnam people, but like, no disrespect, older people. But we have people who are our age, who are younger than our age, who are absolutely veterans. And I really wish, for a couple of years, I tried really hard to like work with the American Legion and the Daughters of the American Revolution to like, I want to like reboot it. I want to they're like, okay, Annie, thanks for your tip. This is like you emailing the bassist. Thanks, bro.
Right.
Like, have you ever thought about?
You know what you should do is get back with your bandmates.
Yeah, exactly. It's not that it's the American Legion is still very active and still doing really great things, but I think that the community that existed post World Wars, and I'm certain post-Vietnam, Korea, those types of conflicts, I think that having a community where these people could go back and not necessarily even need to talk about like war things, military things, but to be around people who you knew understood something about you that when you're walking through the grocery store, those people don't understand it, that I wish that there was that place that was known and was destination level for the veterans who are my age. And I've talked to some of my friends who have served in the war on terror and been in Iraq and Iran and Afghanistan and among other places over the course of the last few decades. And I'm always asking them, like, do you want this? And they're all like, yeah. And I think that the experiences that people have, I've always been very worried that the war on terror was going to resemble some element of Vietnam in the way that people didn't love that war. And, like, what war, like, what was your favorite war? I mean, people would answer that, World War II. If you have people who are in their early 40s who are, maybe they've served their full term in, retired with full service, they're getting out in their late 30s and their 40s or whatever after they've given the entirety of their life to service, they get out, and then, in the war on terror specifically, especially, and I'll tell you when I was having these conversations the most, it was when Biden pulled out of Afghanistan, and I was talking to the people who I know personally that served in that conflict and watched that maneuver, and I was worried about them because the way people were reacting to what Biden did after the war that took place in Afghanistan and the way people were criticizing it, I'm just thinking about my loved ones who gave everything to their country to do what their country asked them to do. And I just don't want them to be forgotten or unappreciated or disrespected in any way, shape, or form. So I'm trying to think of how do I fix this problem? It's maybe how I fix this problem is I just reach out to the people I know, which is what I did. I just wish we had a stronger appetite in our country for patriotism for people who are serving. I wish there was more of to me, it's so obvious. If I see a veteran in Walmart, I'm going to tell them thank you for their service. And I've taught my kids to do that. And they do that on their own now without me, which I'm glad that they do it. But I'm not saving the day when I do that. I feel very indebted, and I feel like I want to give back in a capacity or do something with whatever platform I have. And, I'm not 100% sure that all of those individuals who served in that war on terror want that. My solution for it isn't necessarily going to be theirs. But I do feel like those people who are our generation, I don't think when we think veterans, I don't think that we're thinking of the breadth of generations who fit that bill.
Well, the wars are different now. It's just different. And so you could serve in a capacity that's very different from what it would have been in World War II Vietnam.
My grandpa was an officer in World War II, and he was the historian for the Edwardsville American Legion. So that's always been where I've started. It's always been close to me. Back in a minute. Don't go away. HomeShieldFoundationRepairs.com. If you've got a basement issue, I have a solution in this phone number to Matt Hayes at Home Shield Foundation Repair, 314-271-9900. Write it down. Put it in your phone. Home Shield Foundation Repair, Matt Hayes, 314-271-9900. That wet basement is a problem. You've known it to be a problem. Maybe it's gotten worse. You're getting ready to endure the rainy season here in springtime once again, and you know you got to get this problem fixed. And you haven't known who to call quite yet. Well, let me encourage you to start with Matt Hayes. When you call Home Shield Foundation Repair, you're getting decades of experience of understanding exactly what kind of solutions your particular basement needs. He knows how to fix it. He knows how to ensure that it's going to stand up the test of time, the next rain, the next bunches of rain. He's going to put a lifetime warranty on that basement waterproofing for you at Home Shield Foundation Repair. Call him at 314-271-9900. You can look him up online at HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
Hey, there's still time to join us for a fish fry. So if you haven't yet, we'll be at St. Mary Magdalene Church in Brentwood this week. If that's your area, stop by and say hi. It's the Mark Reardon Show's Fish Fry Fridays, continuing this week in Brentwood, sponsored by Apache Village RV.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-491-9914. 800-491-9914. That's 800-491-9914.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey guys, are you dealing with low energy, weight gain, or issues in the bedroom? Game Day Men's Health is the premier men's health clinic in the St. Louis area with locations in Chesterfield and O'Fallon, Missouri. They specialize in low testosterone and sexual health, and they also help men and women with medical weight loss, vitamins, and peptides. They offer free consultations and testosterone tests with results in about 20 minutes. Get in, get answers, get back to the top of your game. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Again, that's GameDayMen'sHealth.com.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. That YouTube live chat poll today. President Trump said the Iran war could end soon. Do you believe him? Yes, you trust Trump's assessment? No, it'll drag on. Or maybe it depends on Iran's behavior. Brad, what do you think?
I trust Trump on this. I trust his assessment. He's done this before. He's done things like this before. People are like, he doesn't know what he's doing. Yes, he does. It tends to work out in his favor. It happens to work out in his favor more often than it doesn't. That means that it's not luck. So I trust him in this. Maybe it will drag on. I don't know, but I trust him.
How long does it have to go before you're thinking it's dragging on? Because you said 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh,
and we're in
months,
what? We're in, like,
years.
this weekend would be the end of week 2, correct?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I think it was a Saturday morning.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I think the people that are saying forever war right now are chicken littles. The sky is falling. It's like, it's been 2 weeks. Chill out, everybody.
Ryan?
I am caught between maybe it depends on Iran's behavior and no, it'll drag on. I am very afraid that this war will be a, not forever war, but just it'll go on much longer than they're anticipating. I'm hoping that Trump and team did not get very, very confident from the Maduro extraction and how well Venezuela's gone and said, we can do something similar in Iran. I think that they're smarter than that, but I am nervous that it's going to go on for too long.
At some point, Iran's going to run out of things to fight war with.
They're just so that's an Islamic resolve that they've got that other nations don't always have, and so they will fight and die and keep
if we've
it going.
If we've decimated their navy, and if we've taken out, like when they shoot out missiles, we find we take care of it.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying with forever war is not that it'll be active combat constantly, but that we will have to continue to have some sort of involvement in it for a long time.
A question that I had, a conversation I was having with a friend offline was wondering if this is going to last forever. And, they refer to President Trump as the no new wars president. And my response to them is, I could debate with you whether or not this is a new war or a really, really long one that is now being ended because we took action.
That's a good debate.
Yeah. Is it a new war? It could be debated. The poll asking you, after President Trump has said that the Iran war could end soon, do you believe him? Our options are yes, trust Trump's assessment, no, it'll drag on, or maybe it depends on Iran's behavior. Only 17% of you said it'll drag on of 230 votes. 37% said maybe, but it depends on Iran's behavior. 46% of you, should have been 47%, I'll wait, said yes, you trust Trump's assessment. Thanks for being with us today. Subscribe to us on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Download the Odyssey app. Stream 97.1 FM Talk everywhere you go, especially when Mark Reardon's coming up next, right here on 97.1 FM Talk.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by Ethos.
More and more Americans admit to using AI to help them manage their money. Chris Stegg with eGroup in Chicago